This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning and welcome to the Sunrise Safari. Hopefully we'll get one in a little bit. For those of you who have no idea who I am, and if you were fooled and thought that I was in Johannesburg, haha, you got tricked. My name is Taylor McCurdy and it's really, really good to be back this morning. And on camera with me, of course, is Craig. Craig, what was that thing you just did? Little ninja move there. Craig's also just come back from leave. So he's fresh and ready to find all sorts of wonderful animals. I suppose I have to get those things done. I'm a bit rusty, as you can imagine, so we're just going to wing it this morning. But anyways, hashtag SafariLive with any of your questions. And I think that's the only way you can ask us questions. Yep. Right. But I'm sure you're all wondering, why am I here? What are you doing, Taylor? Why are you back here? You told us you were in Johannesburg. I was in Johannesburg, but for like a week and a half. But I'm back now for just a little bit. I'll be here till like the 15th of March. So you've got me for a while. Ha! Angie, you exclaimed, yay! And I'm imagining you did jazz hands with that as well. And he said it's not even April Fool's. No, and I'm sad Brent's not here because for those of you who were watching last year on April Fool's week, well, I basically pranked Brent. We put salt in his coffee. Well, he put salt in his own coffee. We just put salt in the sugar jar. And he was the only person in camp who didn't think it was funny. The rest of us roared with laughter and, well, rolled around on the ground until our stomachs were sore. So that was a whole lot of fun. Okay, let me quickly tell you my plans because I'm going to get horribly distracted. I'm going down the Power Lines Road and we're heading towards Triple M because I still have not seen Shidulu since 2016. How great is that? She just would not show herself to me when she arrived back, and she got a new name because she was just informally known as the young Ingrid Dam female, which is her mother's name. And yeah, she's got little cubs from last night. I can't even talk. I'm so nervous. This is super stressful. Let's take a deep breath. It'll all be fine. So we're going to head back to Triple M and drive up and down the road, and hopefully those little cubs will pop out. If not, you still got a sighting of it yesterday. We are going to find some elephants, as you can imagine. Yes, if you know me. Haha, I believe I'm breaking the internet. I love it when I break the internet. It's like my favorite thing to do. I hope Twitter complains that there's too much hashtagging going on. I don't know. I don't think Twitter will ever do that. I think they like the press. Okay, so I'm not even spotlighting. I'm just holding this thing. Ha! Regan, you said I'm a breath of fresh hair. Thank you. Oh, I better not crash. My hair got chopped off because I also decided that, you know, Brent is just so inspiring. I'm loving that he's not here, so he can't defend himself. So of course I'm going to take advantage of the situation. And I thought I'd chop my hair as short as his and do the loose look. No, but I realized that it's actually longer than I thought. I haven't tied it up yet, so we'll test it this afternoon. It's going to be very, very wispy. What do we think? I think we need to go this side. Yep, let's go this way. So thank you very much. But it is very short. The last time my hair was this short, I must have been 10 years old. Anyways. Wonderful. Well, we're going to keep bumbling down this road. Haven't said that word in a couple of months. That's what we're going to keep doing, and hopefully Shidulu and the youngsters will pop out. Off you go into the Mara, where I'm sure the sun has already risen.
Well, a very good morning, everyone. Welcome to Masai Mara. My name is Isaac, and on camera I have Archie. Yesterday there was plenty of rain, but it's such a beautiful morning. Today our mission is to go by the river, see what we can find for you. Hopefully you're seated, ready to enjoy this morning game drive. So far there hasn't been much action, but I know there will be something. So sit back, enjoy. Remember to engage me on hashtag SafariLive, or you can watch us on YouTube live stream. Please join in. You can ask me as many questions as possible about the Masai Mara. Of course, I'm joined by my colleagues down in South Africa. You have met them, who have introduced themselves, and some of them will introduce themselves. So sit back, enjoy, and send a lot of positive vibes. It's a beautiful morning. See, the sun is just about to rise, and Archie is going to share that with you. This is the scene that the morning has set for us. All different sounds, if you can hear them. Yes, and here we are joined by a black-headed heron. He's very wet, but he's very happy to be alive, and I'm sure he's hoping for that sun will come up so that those little creepy crawlies will start jumping, and he's gonna have his fill. Of course, he's very surprised to see me this early, but I mean no harm to him. Typical, a heron, long neck, walks like it's it's got a snake on its neck. That is a typical heron gait. I don't know what he sees, so it's moving much faster. I don't know if he's got something. Do you have something? Nom, 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 nom. You gonna get something? Beautiful. Okay, let's leave him to have breakfast. Let's continue on, see what we can find for you. We're far. Shara, you asked me where are the Olololo cubs? We know where they are. We saw them about 4 days ago, the female and the 3 cubs. But something very serious happened to one of our antennas. A gremlin got into it, and it hasn't been fixed, so we cannot transmit from that section of the reserve. But soon as it is resolved, we will be able to share with you these beautiful cubs. They are very big now, and hopefully it's not gonna go take another 2 or 3 weeks. Shara, so sit back, don't you worry, they're okay. Right, let's see what we have this morning. Yes, well, apart from the Olololo pride and their cubs that Shara you just asked, you know that the Sausage Tree pride, they have very many cubs now. Yesterday we saw 5. I don't know where the others are. I still hope they are very much alive. The 3 big ones could be alive, but there's 2 very tiny ones. I'm very worried, but it's such a long way from where I am. I cannot get there. All I can hope is when I go there this afternoon, and I promise this afternoon, they will be there, and I'll be able to share with you. But yeah, they are the 2 prides that we actually follow quite a lot. I'm hoping that David will be able to find one of them, or if not, when we get our antenna fixed, then we'll be able to share them with you so that you know that they are alive and kicking. Conditions are very tough at the moment because there is very little to eat because of the long grass, so it is tough. Okay, I'm heading down towards the river, and let's take you to Juma and see what my colleagues are doing. So back to Juma.
Well, I hope the Mara is beautiful and you find all sorts of wonderful things. I can't wait to actually hear about how the Olololo lions are doing. They were I think they were my second favorite pride. I like the marsh breakaways too. Okay, so we're here now where the leopards were last seen, and I'm going to jump out of the car already. Sorry, Craig, I think it's easier if I just point it out. But stand by. I've got a very short mic cable. I don't know whose it was. Maybe it was James's, but it doesn't fit the length of my body. And then look at this really 6-meter long earphone cables now, so that just in case something goes wrong, you can throw it. You can, I don't know, pull yourself out, Oh, there's a car coming. Okay, so this, you can see all the commotion. Look at all the vegetation is disturbed. There's lots of tire tracks and things like that around here. So we know that this is where everything happened, Craig. I'm just pointing all over the place. So anyways, there are some very fresh leopard tracks over here. Where's a good one, Craig? Here, hey. So if you look in this, over here, there are 2 leopard tracks there. And basically what's happened is that I'm assuming it's Shidulu because they're fairly large and they're female leopard tracks. She's walked over everyone's tire tracks. Now, I know that Trishala only managed to find 1 leopard cub yesterday. So perhaps she was off and trying to find the other one, looking around. So I don't know if anything has happened to them. Obviously, we don't want to suspect the worst, but little cubs go wandering too. And I was pretty surprised yesterday to see that one little leopard cub climbing the tree. I've never seen something like that before. That is amazing. I had to go back and watch it last night. Okay, let me jump in because there's lots of vehicles coming. Okay, so she was obviously looking for that other little cub. But maybe she's found it because she's gone back into that side where we can't drive, unfortunately. Let me not blind these people because my lights are brighter than yours. Don't mean to brag. Okay. Okay, just going to sneak past here very quickly. Wave at the people. Hello, people. We're going to go down this road. Let's have a look. Kathy, who's Maurice? No, I'm just joking. Ha, 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 ha. I did, and then I got too excited, and things happened so quickly. I couldn't practice and plan, and Maurice, and here's Maasai outfit. I tried to get him an outfit from Sri Lanka. Couldn't find one small enough to fit him, however. And then I was kind of in the middle of nowhere, so there weren't really any tailors about. Not me. So yeah, so that's just one of those things, I suppose. So here's Maurice. Maurice is very happy. He saw Asian elephants in Sri Lanka. For those of you that don't know where I've been in Zambia and I've been in Sri Lanka. I spent quite a bit of time in Sri Lanka. The Asian elephants are interesting, but I'm not talking about them yet until we see... Oh, okay, stand by. The taxi wants to go past. Let's let them go past. Please, after you. Yes, hoot and a hoot here. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to hoot when you're in a wildlife area to say thank you. Just remember that, everyone. I feel like these animals are so used to things like that. That's something the animals in Sri Lanka are used to. Never seen such habituated leopards in my entire life, where you could pop, 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 toot, toot, shout. You can also use your vehicle to push other vehicles out of the way, and the cats don't mind. They're super chilled. So it was really nice. So it was quite cool. Maurice, you're going to have to go... Maybe have to make Maurice a safety belt just now out of the tape. Okay. Ooh. Robin, I did enjoy my time in Sri Lanka. It was very cool. It went by pretty quickly. I was so excited to come home though, as you can imagine. I was really excited to eat a hamburger and a pizza and just a normal salad because even though the food was spectacular, curry and rice, sure, it was pretty hectic, and I definitely needed something else. I learned to eat bananas again. For those of you who know me, I probably would have only mentioned it about 1,000 times that I really dislike bananas. Like the last time I had one was when I was like 3 because of a very unfortunate incident. I was traumatized and I could never eat another banana again. And then someone said I have to try the bananas in Sri Lanka because they're delicious. And they're really small. They're like little teeny tiny things. They were amazing. I had banana every single day for breakfast. It was so great. So yeah, so it was a lot of fun. I will get more into Sri Lanka, I promise you. I'm just wondering if we should go back onto Mendoza Road. I think we might have to do that because I know that that's kind of where Trishala sort of found them, I think, from there back in or something like this. I think we'd just drive and bob and weave inside Juma and hopefully we'll find something else, because right now we're just not looking at anything and you're just having to listen to me bumble on. And I also would like to see some animals. So we're going to jump off of the main road into due wait. Stand by. I'm sorry, I have not driven manual for like 3 months. Sorry, Craig's giving me the death stare. can I show you something very quickly? Lion tracks. Craig, I don't know if you can see. Right, in the ground is some paw prints, and they are also disappearing back from the way we've come. So I obviously missed some tracks on the ground. So in that case, we might go and have a look and see if there is also a big lion lying around. But somebody who has got an animal is Isaac, and he's got a giraffe. And I also hope I see some giraffe because I haven't seen them for quite some time.
Okay, welcome back to the Mara. And here we have the tall one. And he is very busy entertaining us. Very close to the road. Yeah, that's a very big eye. You know, considering where the distance we are, that's a very big eye. Very long eyelashes to protect her or him when he browses inside bushes. Over there, he's eating a bush. I think that is an edulous, a family of edulous tree. It's got the edulous, it's called Catha edulus, the tree. Sorry, Mairua edulus, and it's a very thorny, but you can see how he's maneuvering it, you know, around the mouth, using the tongue. Look at that, beautiful wax, actually. Yeah, so it's breaking up. You see how it's breaking, using the leaves, breaking the leaves, and making sure that it's broken, you know, to look at that. Well, you don't see that every day. Yeah, it's breaking the, you know, the little twigs that are thorny and making sure they're small when they go to the mouth. Look at that. It's not putting everything in. Wow, super cool. Is it gonna break that one? Yes. Yeah, no rush. Wow, wow. Yeah, so those prehensile lips are very useful for breaking up, not only actually grabbing, but also breaking those small twigs that are very thorny. Remember, giraffe's mouth inside, it's very hardened with a very hard pad, so it protects them from those thorny little bushes. See, it's collecting them, and then let's see again, once again, it's not always that you get to see this beautiful view of a giraffe eating. Look at that. It's breaking them. While, you know, it's not actually just not pulling them only, using the tongue, but it's also breaking them when they're hard. It's a lot of combination. It takes a lot of... Zafar, good morning. You asked me how old this guy is. Yeah, I'll just take a look at him. This guy, I would give him a good maybe 20. You know, by the looks of the texture of the skin, you see his mane behind the neck is worn out. He doesn't have much like others we'll be sharing with you. The horns are very bare on top, and also he's very pale at the neck, or you know, the head behind the ears. So I'd give him about around 20. He's an old buddy. I'm sure he's a grandfather, but he's doing very well. They live around 25 years, Zafar. You see that? I'll give him a good 20. So he's done really well. Yeah. That tree must be very delicious. Also, you can tell that he's very wrinkly, you know, below the neck. You see that? That those are things that, you know, we look for. You see the horns; they are very used. So he's not a young chap, you know. He's not a young lad. Look at that mane at the back of the neck. Thank you, Achi. You see how that one is not very like fluffy. We will share with you another one once we get close, and you'll see how hairy it can be, that mane. So this one is quite old. Can we check the tail, Achi, and see if there's some white hairs? I don't know if we'll be able to zoom in. Sometimes you look in the tail. Yes, look at the tail. It's got some white hairs. Excellent. Yes, Mary, thank you for your question. But look at the tail. You see it's got some white hairs. So definitely he's around 20. They start getting those white hairs on the tail around 17, 18. Mary, you say are they related to camels? Well, their names tells that they are close. They are related to the giraffe because their Latin name is Giraffa cameleopardalis. So it's a camel with giraffe-like, Giraffa cameleopardalis. It's a giraffe with a camel-like gait. So they could be related, distantly related to camels. I don't know how related, but actually they are related. But if you look at them, the hunchback is very much like a camel, although the camel is slightly different. Well, there are many similarities that make them related to giraffes. Elana, thank you. You say it's so beautiful to see 4 of them. Wonderful. It is a beautiful scene, Elana. Thank you for appreciating. Those are 2 young males, and they're sizing each other. That's how they fight. It's called necking, where they bash each other so hard, sometimes they break their necks, and if one misses, they can fall down and collapse for a few minutes. Across the river, a place called Olkiombo, we have a giraffe we used to call Knockout. I don't know if he's still alive, but when he went for a fight like that, he waited for his opponent to throw a few jabs, but for him, he just had one chance. He would just knock the other one out just by hitting him once with the neck. He'll just wait and then go boom, and the other guy would just fall out. So we call him Knockout. I hope one day I'll share with you Knockout. He lives very close to Olkiombo, and he's such a massive giraffe. Snazzy, thank you for your question. It's not often. It's only when new males that have never seen each other, or there is a female in season is around, then they will fight. So it's not often. I could go for over 6 months without seeing a giraffe fight, so it's not very common. Beautiful. Remember, this is the Maasai giraffe, widespread through East and Central Africa, an animal that can go without water for up to a week over here, because they get all the moisture from the leaves they eat. They have very good senses, hearing, sight, and smell, and one of the animals with the highest blood pressure of all animals. A heart weighing around 12 kilos. That's capable to pump the blood all the way to the head. Legs with very thick skin, allowing the flow of blood to flow slowly. Otherwise, if it was thin, they would rupture the skin on their legs. That is actually chewing its cud. It looks like it's really enjoying what it's eating. Good morning, how are you? You're really cute. Yeah. Well, what they do is they will chew whatever they're eating for a little bit and then take it down. I don't know if we'll be able to see that. And then they'll shoot up another like little ball. Okay. Okay, I'll be here. Maybe let me see what else I can find for you. But while I leave, let me take you to Sydney, who is on a bushwalk.
A very good morning, and most of all, welcome to the beginning of the guided walk here by the wilderness of the western side of the Greater Kruger National Park in South Africa. I am Sydney Fumurani Mikosi, and I'm traveling with Senzo, who is my camera operator this morning, as well as my game scout, Herbert. Is just standing somewhere that side, trying to pick up some fresh tracks for this morning. We are highly available on Twitter, #SafariLive. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. My plan for this morning, it is not difficult at all. It's quite an easy plan. I will be looking for the big animals, but while looking for these big animals, I'll be concentrating on tiny, little, beneficial insects. So it's nice and warm this morning. Tears from a Dream. This stick is one of those beautiful sticks. You can see the different lines there. And where I got it, it's not far. I got this stick from around here by the surrounding communities. I bought the stick from vendor while I was on off days. Then while I was around here, I asked who is the artist in order to design this on my stick. And then I found a very clever artist, Shangan artist from the surrounding communities of Juma Game Reserve. That is where I did this. But this stick reminds me of a certain dance, you know, because when I grew up, we used to dance a lot. And we used to dance resembling animals. Last time I have shown you while I was dancing, demonstrating the squirrel. So today, I'm going to show you a little bit of a dance which is to do with the frogs. And this kind of dances, we do them while we are blowing the air, when we are making noise from the instruments that we use as part of the music. So when we are doing the frogs, I'm going to do it nicely from here, going towards that side, so that because I can see my camera operator, he is now there next to the stiff-sided wall. So this is what we do. So when I'm in front, when I'm starting, so that is the frog dance.
Thank you.
It's a very tiring exercise because I have to do that. Yeah, because I've got to dance and I must be blowing and I must be concentrating on the drums. You can hear the drums when I'm doing that. I'm tired a little bit now. So the frogs are some of those animals that we also praise the most because of their importance. Frogs, they... Yeah, so the frogs, we have to love them because they don't have anything against us. Frogs, they help us a lot because they eat quite a lot of insects at night, a lot of mosquitoes, so they do benefit towards our health and safety. Hey, from such a very nice performance, I need to breathe a little bit. So now, let's quickly go back to the one and only Taylor this morning.
Well, we've got two turtle doves. I think they're turtle doves. They look like turtle doves sitting in a tree. How original. And they're grooming one another. So they're the ones that are putting on a show for all of you today. I thought we'd actually stop and try and find some animals. Isn't that sweet? I don't think they know that we're watching them currently. Oh, that's lovely. Now, as you I'm sure know, is that male and female turtle doves are monogamous. You've heard that 1,000 times, but that's why they're sitting like that. Probably damp, waiting for the sun to come out so that they can dry their feathers. So why not wait and strengthen the bond, which is very precious to see, and doing a very good job. And I think it's important as well to reach those hard-to-reach places, because I don't think that turtle dove on the left could be able to groom around its face, and I'm sure that there are a lot of little parasites that would sit around the eyes on the back of the head. Yes, now it's my turn. Let me do you. Very precious. It would be very nice if the sky was blue and marula tree leaves were bright green. It would be a lot prettier. It's very grey and dull at the moment. And at this rate, I don't know if the sun is going to be able to break through. There's quite a thick layer of clouds, and it's quite humid. Oh well, wonderful. ML, I also enjoy birding, and I'm glad that you enjoy it when we do it too. I mean, it was just a turtle dove, but I suppose it's something. So the best thing about Sri Lanka, hands down, is the birds. It's amazing. I didn't grab any of my books. I didn't even bring my own bird book. It's there in my room because it was very disorganized this morning. I mean, no surprise there. So that was pretty incredible to see all the different types of birds. And the best birding photography that I did as well, because everything just sat there and never flew away. So that was quite nice. So when we finished driving the boundary and we came back onto Djuma, there wasn't just one set of lion tracks. It's an entire pride of lions that have walked. So there was just one male that crossed the road where we were, the track that I showed you, and then further up the road, there were quite a few sets of tracks and smaller tracks too. So everything seems to be in the same sort of area where Shidulu has crossed off and gone into Arathusa, and then where these lions have sort of come out. So I haven't seen anything else just yet. But because it's rained so much and it doesn't look like there's much vehicle activity, if any of the cats walked over here, hopefully I will see the footprints. But also, how on earth do you spot animals? I've never seen the grass this tall at Djuma before. It's crazy. It's super, super green. Look at that. I mean, there could be a whole pride of lions laying off to the left. Although I don't think lions like to lay in wet grass unless you're from the Mara, and then I feel like the grass is always full of dew there. You don't have a choice. Ramona, you need 100 birds today. Okay, cool. Do I count as one? Now, can I be number 100? No. But I've found my favorite animals in the whole wide world. Ramona, we'll get you another bird, I promise. Those are turtle doves again flying. Elephants! Yay! Come here, elephants. Come out. Okay, I'm just going to try and get us a good spot over here. There's lots of flies also there, and an unnecessary amount of flies. Hello. Look at all of them. There's a very little elephant, but it is hidden because the grass is so tall. I definitely miss the African elephants. I cannot tell you how. You cannot compare an Asian elephant and an African elephant. They're wonderful. Oh, she's got a floppy ear. Have we not seen that elephant on the right? I'm sure. Although I feel like there are lots of elephants with floppy ears, but she looks familiar. You're probably thinking, how on earth? But believe it or not, elephants can look familiar. Like my friend Daryl. Guess what word you're about to hear come out of my mouth? I'm just going to listen to the Game Drive radio. What are they saying? So let me turn the volume up. No, that's a come-ups one. Sorry, Craig, I'm plaguing with your volumes. Okay, they've stopped talking. It doesn't matter, we've got elephants. Wonderful. Okay, so the first time I saw an Asian elephant, I exclaimed, look how smooth they are, because they really are. They don't have as many wrinkles as the African elephants do, but they don't need to. Oh, look at that little one, Shame Craig. Look at its tail. It doesn't want to get its tail wet. That's why it's holding it in that position. Let's see if it does it again. Look. That's very sweet. Everyone else is like, we don't mind. Also, we're taller, so we don't need to lift our tail above the grass. Please do that walk again, little elephant. That is hysterical. Often you'll see elephants doing that when they cross like rivers and things like that. Then it's not an uncommon thing to see. Elephants, maybe they don't want their tails bitten by crocodiles when they walk through the water. So maybe that's why they do it. I don't think that's why they do it. Just talking nonsense as I normally do. So yeah, so Asian elephants don't have to have all the wrinkles. Their ears are also really small and really tatty as well. Like the African elephant ear is sort of quite smooth all the way around on the edges. Now, Paula, there were definitely some similarities between African and Asian elephants in terms of their behavior. However, I don't know. I didn't get the connection with an Asian elephant that you sort of feel with an African elephant. Again, the Asian elephants felt like the elephants in the Mara, which is, still an African elephant, but how they kind of had blinkers on and just ignored the vehicles and pushed on past and didn't really spend much time around them. So I watched them, and I was normally watching them from a distance, so I never got that intimate sighting that I've been very lucky to have experienced on a number of occasions here in Africa. And I had one sighting where I had some guests. I wasn't doing too much guiding, but I guided some guests who were a lovely couple from the UK, and we went out, and they'd been on many safaris before. So I said to them, fantastic, that's great. They don't have a checklist. They're just happy to see whatever they see. And we spent maybe an hour with a very small herd of elephants. They came out, we watched them feeding out of the forest and then into this sort of open area. And then they fed right towards the car. One elephant scratched up against a tree fairly close by, and we were also the only vehicle in the sighting, which is very unusual. What are you doing, little elephant? And here we go, scratching up on a tree. That one's a fallen one, though. And they do that very often for a variety of different reasons. So it was quite nice to see that. Look at this one using the log as a jungle gym now. Go on, little one. Climb around. I'm not sure if it's trying to climb or if it's trying to scratch a part of its body that it's unable to reach. Again, we were talking obviously about parasites and ticks, and it always comes up in conversation. There are lots of them that will be gathered in between its legs and its nether regions. Yes, well done. No one's watching you. It's doing that quite gracefully. Normally a little elephant would have toppled over by now. We would have all been in hysterics and it would have been a great day. But I wish can you come and play here? Although Mum's walking straight towards us, so we are not going anywhere. We're going to sit and watch them come up to the car and say hello, because I've not seen an elephant up close. Oh no, watch your head, little one. That could be disastrous. Little sibling there is using the luxury facilities and you're standing very close. Oh, it's an optical illusion. Luckily, the little elephant is closer to us. This is awesome. Oh, and so let me carry on about the different behavioral differences. So either the elephants were relaxed and like I said, I only had one really intimate sighting with an elephant, but again, they were still away from the vehicle. They weren't acknowledging that we were even there. They were just going about their day. The sounds that they make are very interesting. Lots of high-pitched squeals all the time. You know when a little elephant puts its trunk in its mouth and it sort of tries to trumpet and it sort of goes and makes those sort of sounds? The Asian elephants make lots of those sounds all the time. I don't know if that's how they're sort of communicating in close contact. They didn't really seem to do that low rumble. I'm sure they did. I just didn't get to spend much time with them. The vegetation in Sri Lanka is so thick. Well, the areas that I was in, it was like impenetrable. So it was very difficult to watch animals for a long period of time. So if you had a sighting for a minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes, 5 minutes was considered fantastic and you were really spoiled. So for those of you wanting to go on safari, Africa really is an incredible destination. We are so spoiled. Chris, I saw a couple of tuskers, but far away that I couldn't really get a picture. Tuskers are obviously very, very rare with Asian elephants. If I'm not mistaken, it's only about 7% of the population of Asian elephants that have tusks. And then in Yalo National Park, which is where I was based mainly, and it's only about 2% of that population of elephants. Then the female elephants didn't have tusks, but they had something else, which was quite cool. They were like these really poorly developed tusks. Like they were so small, they looked like they were going to break off, and they're called tushes. So if you, Craig, you know that little elephant, or not the tiny one, the sub-adult, there we go. They kind of look like that. That's what the tushes look like with the females, but like someone who hadn't brushed their teeth for about 20 years. So there was looked like there was quite a bit of decay, and they didn't look very tough at all. And I didn't see them ever using them for anything. I also never watched Asian elephants strip a lot of bark off of trees or digging up roots and things. eating a lot of grass, and then obviously feeding on leaves, and fruit and things like that. That's another thing that I'll get into about the feeding of the elephants, which was not great to see. But this is kind of working out in our favor today, having this little breeding herd coming right up to us. Wow, very, very special. I'm kind of glad that this is my first sighting. I know you all would have been really happy to see little leopard cubs, but it's not over yet. We're going to sit with a small breeding herd and see what they get up to. Sydney is closely inspecting a termite mound.
I am right here with one of those who are there in order to protect sometimes some of the trees against the big animals such as the elephants. The ants, in size, they are too small, but they do contribute a lot towards the conservation of trees, because where the ants are employed by the trees, big animals don't come and feed there because they just don't like ants. For example, elephants, they don't like the trees which are occupied by the ants because they know the ants can be very difficult to blow out from the trunks. So now here, I am enjoying the sighting of these ants who are now busy constructing. So they are also good architectures, but not as good as the termites. Surely we will see the termites afterwards. So some of them are just dragging some of the big stones here. So the soil particles they are bringing out is these ones. You can see here the surrounding of this nest has got a round thing on the outside. So all this is done by these termites, and they work 24/7. The ants, they do work 24/7, and they sleep. A lot of people, they think ants don't sleep. Ants, they do sleep while on duty, but they're just allowed to sleep for a while. They are not allowed to sleep too much, only for few minutes, a few seconds, and then carry on working. Their lifespan is not that very long because they are always on duty all the time. So for the survival of the whole colony, their social structure is also a caste social system. It's just that they are lacking a king, but they are working socially, and they help each other a lot here. So when I got here, something interesting was happening. Two of them were dragging a very big termite. So termites becomes an easy meal for the ants, but when going to raid the termites, there is always big fights. Some of them, they lose their limbs, and some of them, they even die there because the mandibulas of the termites can be very nice and sharp. So these termites, look, I've got one here which is dragging something in. You can see there is two of them here. Here, right in front of my stick, they are dragging something in there. That is true indeed. This nest looks like an ear. So, but I want to show you something here inside. If you look inside, you will see there's chambers there. Normally we just see the entrance and we don't see inside. We are very lucky this morning that we can be able to see the chambers. If you look there, there's different chambers. These chambers, they are used for different purposes. Their queen has got her own chamber inside. Is a royal chamber where she's doing egg laying, and some of these termites are nurses, professional nurses who are bathing and cleaning the larvae when the larvae comes out from the eggs. So here they've got chambers that they are using in order to prevent rain when it's coming in, and it's not easy for an ant to drown when it's raining. They come as a collective, attached to each other, hold each other, and then you will see them floating. Normally they will catch a stick which is flowing so that they can both float together. On top of the sticks, you will see them moving from one point to the next. Amazing. Very tiny little insects, but so clever. How they find food as well, the reallocation of food is interesting. They work as a team, and this teamwork is so amazing, because if one of them finds something to eat, he's not going to eat alone outside there. We'll have to come and put a pheromone so that the others can follow it. If you go and rub the pheromone, you are going to disorientate all the colony members who will be going in search of that food. Because when you find something, they even get excited. When they are happy, they will be moving the antennae like this, trying to show that they have got excited excitement, they found some food, but also they have got to learn how to scout food. So they go through different trainings with the trainers who will be showing them this is how you go for food scouting, and this is what you must do in order to communicate with the others to come and assist. Amazing, isn't it? So the termites are not, the ants are not very selective. So you will see most of the time they will come for some, but they like sugars. They like sugars a lot. You will see them as well eating the sugars, and also they will be grabbing some of the hard materials, bringing everything to the nest. So that is amazing. So for such a small insect, working as a collective, teamwork efforts is amazing. So now, let's cross over to Isaac with the hyenas.
Welcome back, and here I am at the North Clan den, and there's a few individuals in this den. Those ones were all who had come to receive me when I came here. They normally towards the vehicle, and I'm also very grateful that they can come towards me because I know they're very comfortable with me. Yes, it is always nice to come here and see these guys, and usually they come towards me and say hello. I'm always very grateful when they do that because I know they are not afraid of me. That is one of the mothers. I don't know who she is, but you can tell she's very busy, relaxed, making sure that her young ones are getting the most essential, highly nutritious hyena milk. You can tell they're still quite black, so they're less than 5 months. Good news is, yes, they are getting bigger. Yes, they are getting bigger, as you can tell. And actually, it's been very wet, so I think she's very smart to be able, to go right close to the entrance of the den and give the young ones milk right there, because then it's smart. They don't get as wet coming out of the grass and coming all the way here. This is the North Clan, a clan of hyenas led by the matriarch called Waffles, and Waffles is not present. She's a very old female, we estimate around 10, and she leads about 70 strong hyenas. Over here I see there's 2 adults who are babysitting, and I think they are the ones on duty at the moment. Hyenas, one of my favorite animals, is one of the most widespread animals in East and Central Africa. I call them the sanitary crew or the cleanup crew. You'll never find a thin hyena. Oh, this is quite a good number of them. Look at that. Looks like a little family reunion. They're saying hello to each other. Look at that. It's always nice to see, animals in numbers. And sometimes here in the Mara, we get to see that. We're very, very fortunate. Yeah, really cool. Look at that. Beautiful. Yeah, this guy is coming to say hello, while the others, are busy playing over there. There's never a dull moment with hyenas, always very playful. Linda, you say this is a perfect picture of hyena motherhood. Of course it is. I think it would be hyena babysitting. Okay, I'll stay here so that I can share with you one more time these hyenas. Let's send you to Taylor, who's got some elephants.
And we have not moved anywhere. We're also staying with our animals, which is quite cool. So the elephants came a little bit closer, but now they're walking away. So we might have to play the game of anticipation. My favorite game. It's not really my favorite game. I don't have a favorite game. I quite enjoy Scrabble. And we might go to those Impala and wait there, because that little elephant might chase them. I don't think it will, but better line up for these entertaining moments. I don't think those impala know what's coming, because that little one is very curious, and hopefully it will have enough energy to want to chase things around this morning. It didn't even come up and say hello to us. It was very nervous, hiding away, but it is a young elephant. I mean, and it's not in a big herd. There's just these four, well, the three of them, and then a bull. Is it a bull or a cow over there? I've forgotten how to tell the difference. Jokes. Let's see if you can turn. I don't know. Should we go around, Craig? Could actually be a female. Another female, so there's two. Guide Monkey, thank you so much, because I completely forgot to tell you about why Asian elephants don't need to have wrinkly skin. But I'm going to tell you now. Un momento, please. Going to sneak past the elephants. Yes, come and charge us, the little one, not the big one. The little one can charge us. Hi, guys. Now I'm going to go silent mode. We've gone electric. Hello, young elephant. No, don't do that. You can carry on eating. Don't mind us. We're just passing through, browsing. Look, yes, it's going to charge us. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm going to do the turn now. Yeah. That is another cow. She was just very bull-like for a second. There we go. Now we're perfect. We're positioning ourselves in a way the little elephant can come and say hello. Okay, so Guide Monkey, because it's very hot here in Africa, and these elephants don't live in a jungle or a forest, they're exposed to the sun all the time, unless they stand under a maruda tree. I mean, and that doesn't happen all the time. That's kind of just seasonal. So with the wrinkles all over their body, it creates sort of extra surface area, and then the mud and water and all sorts of stuff like that they normally cover themselves with to keep themselves nice and cool gets stuck in there, and that helps cool their bodies down, which is pretty awesome. Whereas the Asian elephants, they're typically in a jungle or a forest environment regularly. There's very few open areas. Obviously, it depends on the type of sort of biome that they're in. But like in Wilpatu National Park and Yala National Park, I can only talk about the areas that I spent a bit of time in. There's a lot of forest, there's jungle parts to it as well. And, you know, it's virtually impenetrable, even to the sunlight to some extent. There's very few grasses and things that grow down on the ground, just some like little annual forbs and herbs that sort of pop up every now and then. But no grass like we sort of see out here. In the open areas, there's definitely some grass. So they don't have to have all that wrinkly skin. It's the same reason why they don't need to have really big ears like African elephants. They don't need to wave them around and keep themselves cool. What they are missing out on, though, because there's no shortage of insects in Sri Lanka, is that those big ears would come in handy to swat away the flies. And that's what the elephants are doing right now, is that they're not trying to cool themselves down. It's just that the bugs are all sitting around their eyes where there's a bit of moisture. And, well, to be quite frank, it's annoying. You can see wiping their eyes too. They're annoying me, the little flies too, but don't worry. It won't be long before I find myself a quarry branch. So, yeah, so there's so many differences between Asian and African elephants. Definitely behavioral differences. Hi, girl. Are you going to come over? Come, little elephant. I'm just going to sit quietly. I want to see if this little one is going to be brave enough to come up to us. Isn't this precious? Look at that little trunk. Little schnoz. Like a snorkel. Who smells interesting? Hey, big girl. She just did that head shake as if to say, don't get too close to my baby. But don't worry, we're not. We just want to look at you. She's going the long way around. Little one still not wanting to get its tail wet and still walking so funnily on the grass. It's so precious. This is a very cute little elephant. Not too confident just yet, but it won't be long before it will be chasing all sorts of things around. Yes, thirsty now. Just need a little drink. Stand still, Mum. There we go. So I didn't even think I told you how young that little elephant calf is. I mean, just a couple of months old, maybe about 3 months old. It's still very small. Although Mom's not particularly big either. She's not a monster elephant. That was one thing I also learned, is that the elephants in Sri Lanka, the Asian elephants, were not as small as what I thought they were going to be, surprisingly. Obviously, we read about them and, you know, they're a couple of tons lighter. But most of the elephant cows I saw were about this cow's size and actually a little bit bigger. And I did see some really big bulls too. And that were, I don't know, maybe weighing in on about, maybe not as tall as obviously our African elephants, but they're definitely as wide. We'll have to find a big elephant bull to compare them with. But there were still some big elephants. And remember, an elephant is an elephant and it can still do a lot of damage, regardless of whether it's an Asian elephant or if it's a African elephant. Childhood Universe, I don't think the charging of young elephants is particular to a species. I think it's just got to do with their personality. So I've had more experiences with young African elephants, getting quite curious with the vehicles and, you know, really wanting to test their strength and presence to see if, you know, they're able to make a vehicle run away. Perhaps they've heard stories, these youngsters, of how people have run away from them. But I never saw that happening with Asian elephants. I'm sure it happens. I think it's just a personality thing. See, like when they get a bit excited and they're a bit brave, maybe after eating a lot of fruit. That was always my favorite thing, is when you watch these animals, like these little ones get excited in the afternoon, and I always describe it like kind of like a sugar rush with little ones. Then they seem to be super brave. Not this little one though, sticking quite close to mum and sibling and not really wanting to leave their sides. But again, in a couple of months' time, I might find it'll be a bit braver and then sort of come through and really start chasing the cars around. Obviously, we think it's cute and funny now while they're young. It's not something that we want to encourage as they get older. But it is quite precious. And I mean, we don't really react other than we laugh at them. We don't turn the car on and run away, so I don't think we're doing too much damage. I don't think that little elephant is learning that it can do something like that. This is awesome. I think what we might do, though, is... This is such a great sighting, but I do want to see if those cats are on the property, because their tracks came in this direction. I'm talking about the lions. So I want to have a quick scratch around. I won't do too much searching. I just think it's important that we check. Otherwise, Craig and I are going to go and find marulas, because the two of us haven't had any marulas this year. Craig, is that right? You haven't had one? No. That's disappointing. I would have eaten so many marulas that I had a stomachache. Anyways, okay, so we're going to move on off here. I think we'll just check a couple more roads. And as Isaac promised, he hasn't moved an inch. He's still with the North Clan.
Well, that is a new babysitter coming. I think he's coming to relieve the other, who is right here. And there's one that almost has gone in front of the vehicle. You'll be seeing him shortly. But what happened is the balloon that usually goes aloft very early in the morning went past. And the female that was suckling close to the entrance went in. And, the cubs went in and she ran away. But right now, we have a female coming back. I think she's going to be the new babysitter. But off to my right here, you can see this guy. He's the one in charge at the moment. He's right here. He's come to say hello. There he is. Sorry. So he's going to be, in front of the vehicle. He's going to come out the other side. Yeah. So he's the new babysitter. Actually, these hyenas are accustomed to vehicles because the hyena research project do come here quite often, and they are so used to the vehicle. So he's coming. That's beautiful light. It's still quite early here. We're in East Africa, and it's only almost 7:30, which is perfect light for photography, perfect light for observing game, shooting video. As you can tell, this is happening right now, and it's all fantastic. I cannot ask for anything more. There is another babysitter coming. There it is. Yeah, there's always an adult in a hyena den. As long as there is cubs, there is always an adult, and this is no place where you want to come walking. These guys will not hesitate coming for you. Hyenas, although they look very cowardly and they've been portrayed as scavengers, actually they are some of the most intelligent, some of the most aggressive, some of the most successful predators in the East African plains. These guys will hunt most of their food, unlike what they were perceived for. Although they are, very cheeky and very funny, and they laugh like, they don't know what they're doing, but these guys actually are very, very successful. One thing I love about them is they don't play with food. They make sure that everything... Lynn, you say that is precious. Thank you very much for appreciating. One thing I love about them, for me, is they don't play with food. Anything that is got meat is gonna be eaten, no matter what it is. They'll eat it. You see, that's the mother that was suckling earlier. She's, wow, look at that. Tiny little ones. It's always nice to see little ones like that. Is that Sansa? Sorry if I missed your name, but you say if they are that close, would they let me pet them? No. I still take them as wild animals, and that's the one thing that protects me and makes me survive here. If you try and have that mentality, you won't last here. They won't let me, and I would never think of... That's a hyena yawn. I wonder how it smells. Yuck. Yeah. Well, I would never want to pet them, and I'm sure if I tried, I would lose my arm. So it's something that I'll never try, and they will never let me. It's going to be interesting because the sound coming from that female to the right is not happy. So let's see. She might get aggressive. Okay, the other one has left. They can be aggressive when another female or a young male is coming to sniff their cubs. They will get very aggressive sometimes. I think she's not very comfortable. She's trying to find a comfortable spot so that she can give the milk to the little ones. I don't know if you can hear them. Candice, you ask, how many hyenas is that cubs is that hyena nursing? There are two. They give birth to two, and I think it's appropriate because they have only two mammary glands. I think hyena cubs have got the best swag when they are suckling. Look at that. You don't sit like a dog or a cat, like in a line. You give your mama, your bum. Yeah, it's another interesting, way to suckle. Look at that. So the other one has decided to rest. This is maximum security. If any animal was to come here and try and harm those little guys, it would have no chance. Just one female here calling and howling. Everybody else will come from different directions, and they will gang up on them. And I think you have no chance here, because once they know each other's calls, and when one hears another one's call, they will head here, and whatever it is, it will be chased away. Even the biggest of lions, it will be chased away by these guys. And one thing that surprises me, I've seen them fighting with lions and being beaten, is that they have very, very tough skin, and the courage and the guts to actually harass lions. So, I have lots and lots of respects to hyenas. And when he's seated like this, you look at that, he's so, chilled out. Yeah, enjoying the morning and happy to be alive. Those huge ears can hear something up to 2 miles away, and those noses can smell something even the same 2 miles away, and they can run to that distance within a very short time. That is the strategy, actually they use, is running. They normally chase their prey down, exhausting it. usually disemboweling it and killing it very ruthlessly. The animal usually dies of losing excess blood, part of its body. That's how they get their food. Otherwise, Randall, you asked me how many hyenas are usually in a clan. It differs. And what actually determines that is availability of food. You see, for most predators, when there is food, they will multiply. And the urge to become a big pride or a big clan comes so that they can take over the area and be the dominant prey. So in places like here in the Mara, certain sections have got plenty of food. So clans like this are about 70. And they want to get bigger such that they can dominate this area, and whatever is around this area belongs to them. So it does differ. If you go to much drier areas, then clans can be as small as 20. So it is determined by food. But here in the Mara, we get a good 40 to 70 clans, clan members. Randall, I think, yeah, that is how different it is over here in the Mara. Okay, I'll continue on, find something else, and let this mother continue suckling. Let's go to Juma and see what Sydney is doing in the bush.
I've got something very much interesting to show you here, and this is a very nice plant. This plant is one of those plants that we do eat, and I know you have been told a lot about the marula nut. We take the kernels and then we take the flesh inside and make this what is called an oil, and we also use that as a butter. So, but now I want to show you something. When I grew up eating a lot of this. And this is how we take it. We take it like this, and then we come here, we take the outer layers, because the outer layers of this has got hairs. If you look here, there's quite a lot of hairs there. So these hairs, we don't cook them. So what we do is we come here, and then we take this. You can see now, we take all this, and this is the way to minimize these hairs. And also by the other side, we do the same. And then we take the nuts. It can be from marula or just the normal nuts. We grind the nuts into more like powder, and we cook this. This is called moroho. As we are cooking, then we can be able to put that nuts in there. This you can eat, and it's very healthy. For the whole month, we're getting involved on any meat, you can eat this. And after that, we don't even use a knife. We just have to take it like this, and we do like this. And then we take all this and put everything in a pan, including these kind of pieces. We put all this in the pan, and then we cook. And this is what we are going to eat. This is called moroho. So there is another thing which is eaten from the very same plant, which is the flower. Early in the morning, the flowers, you will see them blooming. When they're blooming, we come and take the flowers, and we half cook the flowers. After that, we put them on sticks like this. We come and put the flowers here by the sun, and then we dry them. So those are the ones that we'll eat when it's during the dry season, when there's no food. We will put all this together and we'll eat. Also these ones, we can also half cook, and we put them, we arrange them like this. All the ones that we cook, we are going to take them and make them small, we dry them, and after that we put them in the buckets, and we will eat them by the dry season. When there's no rain, we've got food in advance. So we put lots of buckets for this. Hey, I nearly fell there. So the elephant has been here. I can see there's quite a lot of evidence here on the ground showing that the elephants were here. So we are going to move on now and see if we can find something interesting for you around here. And somewhere here on the road, we have picked up some fresh tracks of a lion, and it's 2 lions. Herbert is suspecting that it's a mating pair, so he is right in front of me here trying to orientate the direction of these tracks. So maybe we might be lucky through his efforts, Herbert, to find something interesting on this guided walk. Leopard lady, this walking stick does not have any significance on this guided walk apart from trekking when I'm circling the tracks for you to see nicely, for sensor to concentrate right on the track, and when I'm pointing as well. So it doesn't have, but if you can check right here, it's more like a pen. You can see it's very nicely and well designed. It's more like a pen here. So you can see this is my very long pen, so it's for me to write on the ground. So you can hear some of the birds are calling. Lauren, this is my tribal colors. So you can see this stick. Yes, the only significant important of the stick is a culture, is my culture. So, but on a guided walk is a pen. But these colors, you can see, these are all my colors. So these are the more vendor-related colors. So I had to choose colors when I went to the artist to say I wanted to match with my traditional colors. So, but I've got more other sticks as well. You will see them because he is covering few for me. Yeah, there has been an elephant on mast here. Can you smell it? Here, there has been some elephant on mast. I can promise you, I can even see Senzo and other people like Herbert is laughing. The elephant on mast has been here. The scent left behind by the elephant on mast, it stays much longer and is so very much instinctive. Yeah, so here there has been an elephant on mast. Oh, the lion tracks, yeah. Let me show you the lion tracks here. So if you can check here, the direction of movement is this way. So you can see here we have got the lion tracks. So but what we saw is that, oh, nice and clear there as well. So here what we found is that it is a pair. But when checking, according to the game scout, who is so very much well sophisticated on tracking, Herbert, I can promise you it's a pair as he indicated, and I agreed with him. Yes, sometimes we do disagree a lot and agree and disagree, but suddenly we get these animals. So he's showing there, Herbert, that maybe he can explain it. He can explain to us where exactly and what is happening. Herbert, what is happening?
Good morning. Tracks of a mating pair heading south towards our southern boundary. We're not that far from the southern boundary, but we are hoping that there's a very good chance that we might find them inside the property. Follow us.
So I'll be with him now. We're going there. I'm very close so that you can hear him nicely as he doesn't have a mic. It's not because I want to pose with him. It's because he doesn't have a mic. So now let's cross over to my other friend.
Now you're going to watch me do really stupid things, but I suppose you've probably not seen a lot of that. For some reason, I won't stop the car. I'll just keep driving and try and put my jersey on, because it looks freezing. We're going to Chitwa, by the way. That's why. It's like we're going to another country. It's so far away. So I'll give you an update in 2 seconds. Let's see if I can do this. Can I do it without crashing? We can only hope so. Craig, I'm going to be blind. Are you ready? No, I'm just Craig, I guess. Not very confident. That wasn't that bad. Okay, so is everybody. I'll be back with it in like 2 seconds. Gotta pop the collar quickly. Okay, I'm ready to give you my update now. So, remember we had lion tracks? The lions are in Arathusa, and it is the Nkuhumas, so that's good, because they're one step closer to Djuma. It doesn't sound like they're particularly far into Arathusa, so maybe tomorrow morning, maybe tonight we'll hear some roars. It looked like there were males with them too, so that's good, I suppose. The young Nkuhuma male's still around. He's still around here. Well, he'd have really big feet now too, so I suppose it's probably his track. Anyways, and the Mungane boys, are both of them still around? Both of them, so both recovered from mange. Just one. I'm getting some inside information here, thank you very much. Because I've been so far away and the internet signal was not great. I tried to watch SafariLive a couple of times, but it was not easy. So I thought, why not? Let's just go pop into Chitwa, see what's happening down that side, because our tracks all go into areas that we can't drive, and no one has found Shidulu this morning either. Her killer's gone. The hyenas came in, they stole it. So she'll be most likely looking for another meal. So my plan is just before drive ends, we'll go back into that area. Because she's got young cubs, she might be moving at strange times. Faithy Faith, please can you repeat the wonderful viewer's name? I didn't hear that. So I'm driving. Now we wait. Puma. Well, that was easy. I should have guessed that. Puma. Did you see any black leopards was the question. It's going to take me a little while to get used to this again. No, I didn't see any black leopards, any melanistic leopards in Sri Lanka, unfortunately. I got to see another species of leopard. In case you didn't know, where's my song? I have to take these out. It's Pantheropardus cortea, which is a subspecies, one of the subspecies, and they're really interesting. What smells like death? Did you smell that, Craig? Something is rotting. But what is rotting? Did something die here recently? So I think on average, I'm confident in saying that the female leopards are bigger than the leopards that we get here in Africa, but the males, not convinced. I don't know what that smell was. So the male leopards in Africa, in my opinion, still trump the sizes of the male leopards in Sri Lanka. And people might disagree, but I'm just going on all the male leopards that I saw. And I didn't just see young males. I saw some older males that were over 10 years old. And yeah, they couldn't compete. Like, I saw some pictures of Tingana the other day, and I was like, wow, he's a beast. Kind of doing exactly what Mvula did. Mvula was at his biggest at this age, at 12, 13. Huge dewlap, maybe not as much muscle tone, but just enormous in size. So I saw a couple of times I saw female leopards, and I was like, male. It wasn't. It was the girl. So yeah, this vehicle has got their GoPro. You won't be able to see them, but they've got their GoPro on their car in case they see something across the vehicle. Bye. So that was cool. They've also got really long tails. That's something I definitely noticed. Like enormous tails. So again, we're going to go past Twin Dams, and I know with all the trees and things now, the signal's not so great. So I'm going to pop you across to the Mara, and it seems as though Isaac is also on the move.
Okay, welcome back everybody. And we have left the hyena. The hyena village got quiet, so we had to leave and decided to move on, see what we can find for you guys. And right in front and to my left is a beautiful antelope we call topi. Not seen everywhere in Africa. So I'm gonna stop here and let Archie do his magic work with his camera and share with you this beautiful antelope. We have quite a good number of them all spread out here. You see these two, topi, it is called T-O-P-I, very common and very widespread here in the Mara. A very fast antelope, And you can tell that they're looking very, very healthy. Their coats are almost shiny. Look at that. Yeah, super, super, super beautiful. Is a breeding herd, a mixture of males and females. And these guys do migrate. They do go to the Serengeti and back. When I talk about migration, is we have an annual movement of animals that, they move from Serengeti to the Mara, and we have a total of 3 million animals. It's amazing, hard to believe, but it is true. These animals move from the Serengeti to the Masai Mara to come and eat all this grass that is growing. It's been watered, so it's going to be very, very, very high. Surprisingly, nature is amazing. The grass we find here is called a red oat grass, or what these antelopes are eating, the topi. You see that, what they're eating? And this grass needs time to rest, and it's amazing. That's why the wildebeest move to the Serengeti and they leave it to grow, and so when they come back, it's in plenty. Isn't that amazing? About this grass, it needs to have a break so that it can rejuvenate and grow. And also, they say that fire stimulates it. Once in a while, the park rangers will burn some areas to stimulate fresh growth. Okay, this guy is getting, the testosterone are getting high. So, they are mad fighting, sharpening those fighting skills. Let's take a look. I'll just let you enjoy this. It's not always that you see a topi mad fighting. Yeah, beautiful. Look at that. Now they think they look so beautiful. They're ready for... Jonathan, you see your favorite bush? What? I didn't hear that. I hope I could hear it. But yeah, I don't know actually. What did you hear that? What did you say? Bush? Oh, your favorite bush goat. Well, I wonder why you call it goat, because this is not tameable. Well, look at that. Beautiful eyes. Yeah. Now I think, they think they look so, beautiful and elegant. Look at that. Very healthy. The skin is almost oily from sweating. Gary, of course, they can outrun lion by a long distance. These guys can run, my friend. They go 70 kilometers, an endurance of up to 2 kilometers non-stop. That's why they are not on top of the lion's menu. Yes, they are not eaten often, and that's why they are the few that can survive in these plains. I don't know if they're gonna mud fight again, but it looks like it's a good time for them to be applying some makeup on their horns. These males, I think it's a sign of dominance, showing off to one another. I don't know if they're gonna do it again. Let's have a look. Sometimes they do it. Oh yeah, one is gonna do it, and sometimes when one do it, everybody does it. It's like hypnotizing the others. Let's have a look. One did it. I don't know if another one gonna do it. The moving of the tail, the twitching of the ears, it's bugs, flies. They disturb them, so they keep moving their their tails and ears. Look at that. Really beautiful. Okay. I think they didn't read books, so they didn't understand what I wanted them to do. And looks like... Tears from a dream. I think it's a male thing. It's a dominance thing, applying the mud. Also, I think, it's like, being in a gym. Sometimes, you start throwing jabs and hitting the air. This is sort of, showing off to the others, applying the mud onto their horns is showing off to the others. So that, they are much more dominant than others. Although they look like they don't have eyes, this is one animal with some of the best eyesight in the plains. Yeah. we're gonna do it again. Sometimes it's just best to observe and not say anything. Okay, while I continue on finding something for you guys, let's take you to Juma to see other animals.
Well, we're actually not on Juma anymore. Sorry, I forgot what I was going to say there. I had a funny line and then I forgot. We're on Chitwa, and now all the Egyptian geese are running away, but there's easily 30 Egyptian geese around here, and that were around this very, very small pan. Why are there so many of you? And why have you moved away from Chitwa Dam? Or is there another gang of Egyptian geese down there too? South Africa's one of the most annoying birds. They're very loud. And they make lots of noise, obviously, if they're loud. I'm stating the obvious today, as you can see, just to reassure myself that sometimes I know what I'm talking about. But I can't understand why so many birds would stand at this teeny tiny little mud wallow. It's not even a dam or anything like that, just to the left. Look how tiny it is. Rather than go and spend their day around at Chitwa Dam. Maybe there's too much competition there, and perhaps they're also, they do look like they're grazing, so there isn't that much grass that grows around, and there are a lot of lovely grass seeds at the moment, so maybe that's what they are feeding on. Wonderful. Okay, I hear some squirrels chirping, which means absolutely nothing, probably a bird of prey, but we'll go and investigate anyways. Although I did hear another squirrel shouting in the distance. Maybe they're having a long distance fight. Territorial dispute. See if we can find the angry squirrel. So I promised this afternoon on safari I shall bring, I did bring some books from Sri Lanka so I can show you pictures of some of the animals that I saw. Okay, where are you, squirrel? So we'll get into that a little bit later. So if I don't talk about Sri Lanka, I'm avoiding it strategically. Is that you up there? No. I also don't know if I can see anymore. I'm not as good at spotting as I used to be. Actually, I don't think I was ever good at spotting. Remember that one time I missed the leopard? Craig, were you on the vehicle with me? Yeah, why didn't you see it?
I saw the first one.
Craig, so you saw the first one, the one that ran across the road. Well, these things happen. Sometimes. Ooh, saddle-billed stork. That's nice. What a lovely treat. Let's go and look at them. Oh, there's lots of birds here. There's mosque swallows. Ah, very cool. I now also can't do too much birding because I don't have... Oh, I've got an app on my phone. I forgot to have an app on my phone. Rosemary, no, I was fairly lucky. I didn't have any particular bad weather in Sri Lanka at all. I just got there just after some of the rainy season. We're going to do a top view. Oh, look, it's a saddle-billed stork and a crocodile. Oh, that's amazing. Reflection. That's so cool. Okay, we'll show you now. So yeah, Rosemary, I was fairly lucky. It was kind of humid like we're experiencing at the moment in Juma, but it wasn't unbearable because when I was in Sri Lanka, wow, it was like 43 degrees there every single day just before the rains arrived, and the humidity was so high. It was at about 65%. So I was like, this is placid weather, but we'll get more into that when I haven't got anything to look at. How great is this? Water thickney. And then we've got saddle-billed stork. Hello. Just going about their day. And then I quite liked the crocodile as well. But now the saddle-billed stork is not standing there so we can get a picture. Oh, it still is. It's not as cool, though. Well, that's pretty amazing to see. Now, if you're wondering why doesn't that crocodile try and eat that bird, it might. But not very often. You normally see young crocodiles going for birds. You don't very often see like a really big crocodile. We know the two big ones here are Boris and Vladimir, and I don't think that they'd be particularly interested in feasting on a bird when there are so many fish in this dam, and that's what they're primarily eating. Lots and lots of catfish, and I think they're easier to catch than that bird. I do remember one cool sighting that I had here, though. I was with Louise, and we'd come to visit little Leo Smith, Brent's brother Dylan, and we were standing on Chitwa deck, and it was quite funny because we saw a fish eagle swoop in and knock over a saddlebill stork and stole its fish. That was cool. I wish I'd filmed the whole thing. It would have been amazing to watch. But it's nice to see Mr. and Mrs. Saddlebill Stork. Also, where is all the water? Where did it go? Ah, there we go. Sammy Jane, funny that your question just came in as I said that. I'm just like zooming out here and having a look. Where did all the water go? Why is it not here? I'm so confused. I thought there's been a lot of rain. Hasn't there been a lot of rain? Did they drain it? What happened? Were there like millions of quailias that have come here? Was there hundreds of thousands of buffalo that have drank all the water? Somebody, tell us. Oh my goodness, no ways. No ways. Look at that. No. And that cat looks very familiar, don't you think? From here? Okay, guys, stand by. We're going in. We're going in. I don't know how we're going to get there, though. I don't know. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Oh, hey, I haven't done off-roading for a long time. This is going to be so much fun. Okay, we're going to go down into a little dip. I need to figure out how we're actually going to get to that point, because we normally go down there. Who is that? Am I going crazy, or does that look a lot like Hosanna? Like, a lot like Hosanna? Are you sure, Faith? Because I'm fine. I found a route already. It was a lot easier than I thought. Like, a lot easier. I just have to drive here. Let's just not get stuck. Oh, no, maybe it isn't. You're all going to have to help me, because obviously I can't remember. Even though I haven't been gone that long, I can't remember the lepers now. That's a face you can't forget. No ways. Hello, big boy. Is it really? Oh my goodness. Could it be? I'm waiting for James Richard or somebody to confirm, because I don't want to be calling a leopard the wrong thing now, but this looks very familiar, this cat. And let's see. Yep. Hello. I'm pretty sure this is Hosanna. I'm sure it's him. It looks, is it? No, it might be a girl. No, this is a small cat. No, that face with a pink nose. Who is this? Tlalamba. I've only seen Tlalamba like twice, to be honest. Is that Tlalamba? Splitting image of Hosanna from the top over there. Just going to reverse back and not get stuck. What are you doing down here? You've grown so much. You're like 500 times the size. Let's just see. It's definitely a female. My goodness, we got so excited from the top of that damn wall, because it had the very chubby face, very much like Hosanna has. Now, there's lots of guesses. Ooh. I don't know if it's going to be Sibuye or Kuchava. This cat looks quite young. Very pink nose, very clean ears. To me, it doesn't come across as an older cat. I got so excited for a second. I thought, oh my goodness, Hosanna has come back. Although if you're going to scent mark me, you're probably not going to be Tlalamba, because you're too young. Is it Sibuye? Wow. Awesome. Thank you, James Richard. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for your help. It is indeed Sibuye. I didn't think she had such a big nose, but I've also only seen her once. And I think the last time I saw her, she was laying in the grass. Anyways, I've seen her cubs, though, but sadly, she only had... I saw the two of them, and then no, it was an unknown male leopard that killed the one the next day, which was terrible. So sad. So I don't even know how those youngsters are doing. It's not very often that we get to see Sibuye, as her traverse is not really in this area. So I've got to do quite a few little short turns here. Man, I promise you, I thought this cannot be real. If this is Hosanna from that dam, the way that chubby thing with the face just sticking through the grass, I thought, please. And we were talking about how amazing it would be if he came back. Oh, well, it's not him. But that's cool. We got a leopard. Okay, so Craigie, watch your branches. Yeah, okay. Kalina, that's awesome. I'm glad that you got to see Sibuya. We're going to try and keep up with her. Just got to zoom around here. I'm just going to think how we're going to get her. I think we should be fine. We now got to try and spot her. This is a fun thing. She's not tiny. She's not tall, but she's quite staunch. Oh, there she is at the tree, to the left of the big maruna tree. I know, looks like she's seen something too. Well, she's maybe just paused. We'll have a look. What are you looking at now? She was focused straight ahead of her. And start to hear the birchall starlings. They're not impressed by her presence. This is fantastic. So, well, I've obviously got a bit of a disadvantage now because she's a little bit further away. But it's not a bad area to off-road, so we should be all right. So let's try and do that. How cool! This is amazing. I must be honest, I'm a little bit sad that it isn't Hosanna. But, I mean, this is still cool. So I won't take any leopard for granted. April, I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm not really sure where Sibuya fits in the family tree. Leopards are not my strong point. If Tristan was here, he'd be able to tell you. But so now I'm going to call on James Richard, the leopard man. He can help you. So if you ask him very nicely, he'll be able to tell you exactly who her mother is, potentially who her father could be. There might be two opportunities. But like I said, I've only seen her once before, and a particularly good sighting. We didn't get to spend too much time with her. Yay! Okay, I'm just planning my route. If I seem distracted, it is because I am. Because I've got to do so many things at once again. She's a lovely cat. She's so buff. She's been hitting the gym. Here we go. She's just here. Hi, girl. Thank you for not choosing too hard of a route to walk. You can see that definitely not Tandy, because Tandy would have taken us through a sickle bush thicket by now. She said she got a fright. It was a bird that gave her that fright. It flew out of the bushes. Oh, here comes a fork-tailed drongo now. Can you hear that? So that fork-tailed drongo is alarming and telling everybody else that there's a leopard now. There's two drongos. Alex, she is beautiful. Now, drongos are notorious for mobbing birds of prey. However, I don't think they're going to be brave enough to mob a leopard. But they're going to follow her, though, and shout from the tops of the trees as to how annoyed they are by her presence. So if there are any impala or a daker around, they're going to be on high alert now. What's she going to do? So obviously she's just going there. So I want to anticipate her movement and get in front of her. So I think we'll sneak around here. I want to give her some room as well, so that if there is a daker or a steenbok or something along those lines, we don't get in her way. Oops. Actually, James Richard, I'd really appreciate some help here, because I too am not familiar with Sibuya, so I couldn't even begin to tell you how old she is. I might have it written down in my book, but I forgot those in my room. So please, any information, #SafariLive, or you know how to get hold of us, it'd be great. And then I'll wait for Faith to tell me before I start spewing any nonsense. Oh, it's so cool to see a leopard, though, and to be able to off-road. Let me tell you how fantastic that is. Definitely taking it for granted. Ooh. Oh, okay. Okay, so thank you, James. You said that Sibuya's mother was the Kikalezi female, or she was also known as Shidulu. and her dad was the airstrip male. Very cool. I have never seen either. The airstrip male used to occur just further north. I worked at Sabi Sabi, and we used to hear about him being like on the boundary and stuff like that, but very rarely would he creep down into the Sabi San. So I didn't get to see him at all, but I heard about him and I saw pictures. I've seen pictures of him. Right, let's keep going. So that's quite nice. The Kikalezi female, I don't know. I'm wondering, did Sibuya, was she born on Londolozi or something like that, or Mala Mala, and has she pushed? She's obviously pushed from further south, and she's pushed up north, and she normally hangs around on Chitwa and then into Vessels. You see her a lot, and some of the other small privately owned not sort of non-commercial lodges. She hangs around there. So this is awesome. She's creeping right up because we're really not far from Gowrie Main at all. So that's quite interesting. That's why I was so confused. I was like, I would have thought if we would have seen her, it would have been right down on the boundary. So Craig, I know it's not great now, but hopefully she just walks into frame, which will be obviously ideal. But she's on a territorial patrol at the moment. And just from her looks, I don't know, she might be between 4 and 6 years old, somewhere around there. I could be completely wrong. She still has a very sort of young look about her. Yeah, just rubbing up against that apple leaf, and then of course urine spraying up against the tree as well. So just, I suppose she doesn't come up here very often, so she doesn't get an opportunity and to mark these sort of areas. So it's important that she does so. And look how relaxed she is, walking right in front of the car. She doesn't seem to be perturbed at all by all the birds alarming at her. Amazing how she stealthily moves through the grass. AB, yes, Sibuya is most certainly old enough to mate, and she had cubs. She had 2 not so long ago. I saw them in September, October, just before I left. Like I said, she had 2, and then unfortunately one the next day was killed by an unknown male leopard. It was very sad, and the cub was in a tree. We couldn't traverse on that area to go and see it. It was really horrific. I don't know if the other cub has survived and dispersed. And so she was born in 2014. So she's 5? She's between 4 and 5. So that's cool. So yay! Look, I'm still good at guessing how old the animals are. So guys, you become very good at guessing. So she's on the road. So I want to get up in front of her. Maybe she's going to come, maybe she's coming to Estrus, maybe she's mated already, maybe she still has the other cub. I'm going to have to rely on some of our leopard fundis to help us there with all that information. On the other side, I don't want to push her too much because on the other side of this road, we can't drive anymore. I've completely even forgotten what is, Craig, what property is this again? That's how I feel. Hoffman, is it Hoffman's? I can't even remember. Now, KB, it's not unusual for Thandi to push into this area because she likes to hang around on Torchwood and also on Juma, of course. And now she's pushing straight towards Gowrie Main. If Thandi hasn't been around, that's the thing with leopards. If a leopard hasn't been around and is constantly not marking its territory, it's leaving a gap wide open for another leopard to come on in. And maybe that's what's happening now. Maybe there's some pressure coming from down south, from where Shidulu normally hangs around. It's hard for us to say, well, especially hard for me, because I haven't been following the leopards. I've been so busy, so it's particularly difficult. I don't know where Thandi's been hanging around either, if she's just been all over. Thandi's also always, since Karula passed on, has also kind of been all over. See if we can follow her here for a little bit. Just watch her. Nope, of course she's, sorry Craig, she's now just, thought she was going to go straight through, but she's now turned right. So yeah, it's a bit cheeky. She does do something like this and Thandi is around, she's not going to be very happy about that. But I haven't seen Thandi for a very long time on Chitwa. She used to live around here, and then obviously prime territory opened up with Karula disappearing and we were obviously passing on, and she took that straight away. And so now basically this entire section up here is full. Sometimes Kuchava will pop in onto Chitwa too, but that's a little bit further east from where we are now. So a little bit further down along Gowrie Main, and then she'll cross from Torchwood and back along this side. So she's probably just on a bit of a wonderbout. A wonderbout? That's not a word. Oh, now she's on the tree. Sorry, Craig. I keep staying like that. I'm just going to go back. Forward. There we go. Elizabeth, sorry, just doing some repositioning. Oh, he's so beautiful. So the male leopard that will be around here will be Tingan, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, Tingan has done his rounds. He's spent a fair amount of time all over. But for a long time, he lived on Chitwa for a good couple of months when he was not particularly well. And he still frequents this area. He'll pop onto vessels, onto Hoffman's, and of course, Djuma. Not so much Torchwood. Because that's, of course, quarantine will go onto Torchwood, and so will Gajima. And so, you know, we see his tracks up on the Djuma cut line quite a bit, so on Cheetah cut line. So I don't think Tingana will go too much that side. Every now and then. Again, some males from the south. I'm not sure who would push up through here. There have been a few unknown males that have been photographed that no one can really identify. Again, we're actually not that far from the Kruger National Park. Like, as a crow flies, it's only a couple of kilometers. It's so easy for these new young males dispersing, or even an older male that's maybe been pushed out, to come and pop through and just spend a couple of days here before realizing that maybe it's like an overpopulated area with leopards and they would have to go on. So this kind of thing, it doesn't happen all the time, but it's not an uncommon thing. So Tingana, Hosanna, of course, will pop around, although I'm not sure where he's gone. The last time I thought I read something about him being on Cheetah Plains, but I don't know. I was just browsing Facebook, and that sort of popped up, but it wasn't real confirmation. I can't even remember who I saw it from, but I know he's been down at Londolozi. Maybe he's on his way here, or maybe he's just not going to come back at all. He's a leopard, of course. It was unusual that we saw him come back anyways. Oh man, I miss the leopards of the Sabi Sand. They were always such show-offs. But sadly, we're not going to be able to follow her if she carries on going in that direction, because now it's off of Chitwa. But we'll see if we can't follow her on this road, and maybe she just walks parallel to it. In winter, we'd be able to keep following her and seeing her from a distance. But it is going to be tough with the long grass. And she goes just last of her marking. Very cool. Okay, well, let's go up to... There's another road up ahead. Let's see if she's going to pop out onto that. We can only hope that we can get one last glimpse of her before that's the end of the sighting. But that was fantastic. That was so nice to see, and what a surprise. We were just talking nonsense about crocodiles and birds. Okie dokie, off you go to Sydney. He's still on bushwalk, walking around, and apparently there's some kind of surprise.
I've got something very interesting here. It's a setup. Today I want to show you how the marula beer traditionally is done. But first, just look at how I am sitting. This is kind of a special arrangement. Normally, the ladies in Venda, when they're greeting you, they have to go down their knees like this, and then they will do like this. So that is when they're greeting you. They do like this. If they don't want to do this, then they must have to go on the side and do like this. And then that is when they're greeting, and then you will answer, and then they will come up again. So now here, I want to show you something. If you look at these amarulas, there's a difference between this one and that one. So this is much green, and this is much ripe. So now, let's see. This is how we do it. You open the marula with this fork like this. It's very easy. Look at that. You see, this is how, and you'll be having a bucket here. You can see the marula dripping, you see? You see, then you get a lot of marulas if you do it this way, you see? So this is how you do it. And then you can see how clean is this. And you can see this is more like a bed now, you see. So now I want to show you something. This is difficult. You will see if you do the green one, then it's what you see. So this is showing you that the bottom is still green. It means a fresh. If you can
Welcome back. Here we have a pair of beautiful grey-crested cranes, and these guys have been preening, cleaning themselves. Looks like they are getting ready for the week. I think they're very late because it's already a Tuesday, and I don't know, maybe there's a market somewhere, but they've been preening, cleaning. You could tell that, actually, it is something that they want to do. And maybe they're getting ready to breed. That is a beautiful gardenia tree. A gardenia tree grows for almost 300 years. Over here, we have some very old ones. We have some that are, almost, I cannot actually go around them. They're very, very big, very thick. They have very hard barks and also very thick leaves and branches, because I think it's an adaptation where they have become that way because everybody goes for them. Giraffes, elephants, eland, impala, all the animals eat them. So they have grown to be very hardy. And this is the tree where the crested crane are roosting. You can tell. I don't know if they are discussing while cleaning themselves and making sure they look as beautiful as possible, that they are going to breed and make a nest here. Sometimes this is the case. Maybe they will breed and make a nest here, but definitely they are not on the ground as common as we see them. Makeup girl, always a pleasure to hear your name, and I'll give you an answer to your questions. Do the gardenia flowers smell nice? They do smell very, very nice. And if somebody knew how to make a perfume like that, it will sell out every day. They're so smelly, very fragrant. It is not one of those yucky perfumes, not one of those very sweet. It's just there, the beautiful, the most beautiful. If you ever smelled of jasmine, jasmine flowers, it is close to that, but it's got a unique smell to it. So it's got a very amazing smell, on the gardenia tree. And this is where these, grey-crested cranes have roosted. They are preening, they are cleaning themselves. Look at that, so beautiful. Yes, this is just a place where a photographer would want to be and take as many pictures as possible, because the light is amazing. It is not harsh, it is just perfect when you have those perfect tools to take pictures, and you can tell. Connie, it looks like they have fur. I think because it's scruffy, it's been rained on the whole night, so it is not as smooth as the feathers. So take a look at that, so beautiful. Whoa, thank you, Achi. Yeah, look at that, even better. Oh, they look like the Australian cassowaries when you look very close. The beaks, they look like the Australian cassowaries, which is a very aggressive bird, I understand. Yeah, but these ones are grey-crested cranes, the national bird of Uganda. Uganda is a country that neighbors our country, Kenya, and this is their national bird. In Africa, many countries have got either an animal or a bird that is either a national bird, mostly a national bird or a national animal. In Kenya, we have the lion, which is the national animal. In Uganda, they have this grey-crested crane, and it is, hear that? Wow, wow. They say that Give nature a little bit of your time, and it will show you something that maybe you've never, learnt. Did you hear that call? I've never heard them call that call. I know the other call that goes, ah-how, ah-how. They got interested. Ah-how, ah-how. They do go like that, but I never heard that one. That So it's always nice to hear this different vocalization. They tell you in the books, but to hear them is totally different. Definitely these guys are very busy trying to get rid of those ectoparasites that have been in their feathers, and that's what they're busy doing. Are you gonna call? Yeah, hear that sound? I think they are getting ready to breed. It's coming to breeding season, so they're getting ready. And when they do the breeding, I hope we'll catch one of the clips, because the male has got this very elaborate dance that he does. Sammy James, you say they sound like a peacock? I thought maybe a peacock has got a different sound. I thought the peacock were very loud. Like that. But maybe they have another sound. I've heard peacocks, but they sound like that. Well, maybe they have a different call. I've never heard that one. Yeah, very busy. Look at that. So beautiful. Very busy. Well, remember, this is live. It's coming from you. It is coming for you from the Masai Mara in Kenya, East Africa. And these are great crested cranes. Remember to, engage us on hashtag SafariLive. You can ask us questions that puzzle you about this beautiful place on Africa. Yes. Yeah. Hear the call? One more time. Okay. Let's take you to Sydney, who's on a bushwalk. I hope he's being lucky.
I am now going to start again from the beginning to show you how the traditional Amarula beer is done. And at the beginning I've shown you this is how the old ladies are sitting when they're doing the Amarula beer. And like I said, sitting like this is also a sign of respect. This is how they greet. And apart from this, they also go again on their side just like this. And you will even hear some other ladies ululating, especially when they're coming across the chiefs, kings, and the headmen. So now, when it comes to the Amarula fruit, the best way to do the Amarula fruit, instruments are very easy. You just take a fork. A fork makes it easily, and then you will see quite a lot of water coming out. So, and then you just have to do like this. Like, look at how much water is coming out just from this one. After that, you squeeze, look. You can see how much water is coming out from just a fruit like this. So now I'm going to have one for me just to eat because it's smelling very nicely. And then I'm going to do, it's very easy. You do it very quickly. See, now I'm going to have to drink. This is so very nice. And I can promise you the insects must have to be highly appreciated here. This is from the Amarula, and let me tell you something very important. The insects such as the bees contributed for us to drink this today, and the butterflies plus dung beetles. Maybe the question is, why dung beetles? Because Sydney likes dung beetles, he just want to associate it with everything. No, dung beetles prepare the soil for this tree in order to get nutritious food, and then the other ones do their own responsibilities. This kind of beer, you do get drunk out of it. Insects, they also get drunk, but not only by marulas. Marulas, I'm not too sure if it's scientifically proven that it can maybe affect the insects. But the fruit flies, after drinking some of the nectar and some of the fruits, they do, Lisa, the Amarula beer tastes very nicely. And the fruit flies, when it comes to other fruits as well, they do get drunk, including the bees. Do you know the bees get drunk and they even battle to walk and to fly, and they cause too much accident by the sky? And those who are drunk, when they get back to the beehive, they face a disgrace, because those sober bees can be able to detect it and bite them, their legs, and pull them outside. They don't want to jeopardize the safety of their hive by the intoxicated members of the cage. So you can see this is so very interesting. Oh, I've forgotten to also gratitude the honorable kings, because by the surrounding here on our midst we do have the termites. The kings are also contributing towards the recycling for the bush, and also to make sure trees survive nicely. So all these important insects, I am now giving them all these comments, positive comments, because if the bees, for example, has got less to eat, it means we won't have too much to eat as well, and that will affect you too much, because when it comes to the agricultural sector, they are the ones who are pollinating vegetations and fruits. And if you can check, when there is not enough vegetables and fruits, the prices are going to go high. So we have to appreciate these tiny little insects and look after them. So I'm going to carry on drinking. I've been talking a lot. I think I need a drink now again. So I will show you something else that you will find inside the fruit of this. Discover the Amarula fruit, when it's like this now, tastes like sugar. It tastes like juice. But if you do it and keep it every day, when it's fermenting, when it's getting old, is when it's becoming a strong alcohol. So the amount of fermentation determines the strongness of this. The alcohol comes when it's fermenting too much. But if you do it today and drink it in 2 days' time, it will be still just a juice. But after that, it's going to be then alcohol. Something important you must know is that this kind of Amarulas, how this beer is done, at night and during the day when it's fermenting, it takes all the deaths. It's going to take the foam and put the foam on top. And sometimes by this foam, you will even see some worms. And then before you drink it, you have to save it. And then you can put it by the safe place in a bucket. So the Amarula beer itself cleans itself. You will see the two colors. You'll see the color at the bottom, which is nice and pure clean. And on top here, at the top layer, you will just see the fume with a lot of dirt. That is what you will then take it out. It will work itself for you much easier. So now, if you check, I just want to check here. This is the old one. Inside the old Marulas, yeah, maybe I'm going to find what I'm looking for. Inside the old Marulas, sometimes you'll find the worms. Let me check nicely here if there is worms. So when you are picking up this, you have to check, because some of them, which are very old, they do have the worms. It's not easy to see on this one, but I was hoping that there is a worm there, because normally those with worms, you will see if you squeeze it, they do have a little hole where you're going to see the water coming out. You must know that is where the worm entered. So you leave them, or you can use them because it's going to serve itself. So normally we use both. At the end, we then clean it. A fig, unfortunately, the marulas, you can only put it in the fridge. To dry the fruit is not easy, but what you can do is to dry the fruit to get hold of the flesh, because inside there is a seed, and the marula seed here, I've got the good sample of the seed. This is what is inside here. If you check this is what is covered by the flesh, and this is what you can dry the seeds for. Then at the end, it means you can be able to take the nuts, crack the seed kernel, and then you can eat, and you can even make some oil. You can even make some skin cares from this. So you can see that this is when it's dry, and this is when it's still fresh. The seed is covered inside here. And to get the seed is easy. Let me just get the seed for you now. So I'm going to have this one now very quickly so that you can see.
We live.
So I'm going to have this one. So you can see now here that the colors that you are seeing there is the color of that seed. Don't get surprised. You can hear the noise. That is Herbert trying to crack the old amarula seed, which is so very much hard. So now I am going to take you back to Taylor for some updates. You're late, man.
Rightio, so we lost Sibuye. She is in Little Gari. I also remembered I think it's Little Gari that this property is on to the left of us. I can't remember. I'm going to have to get a map again. It's really strange how when you're not talking about the same things over and over, some information that's apparently not particularly important to me, you just lose it. Now, I'm really shocked that this cat is still pushing sort of more north. I don't know what she's thinking, but anyways, I mean, I'm not a leopard, so I just want to check back. We did have her on a termite mound for a while, but it was so far away we had a tiny little view through the trees, and then she got up and she moved. So I'm just going to go backwards. Let's just see. Maybe she decides to turn. Craig, you have to look because I have to reverse. I've missed reversing so much. I know it sounds really weird, but I promise you it's like the funnest thing to do ever. Well, I enjoy it. Especially when I reverse Craig into a buffalo thorn. Hey, Craig. Craig says it's the best. I'm going to try not to. Okay, we'll turn around here. Yeah. Hey, you get to listen to all my karate ninja noises again that I still make. That was funny. People still think I'm really weird with the sounds that I make all the time. Okay. Oh. I believe a few of you are really confused and are wondering if this is an old show. No, I'm back. Today is the 26th of February 2019. It is currently 7:36 a.m. Central African time. I'm just coming back. I'm one of the surprise guest people. Me, a surprise guest person. Oh, she's gone. I don't know if we're going to see her again. I'm just wondering if she'll go all the way to Gari, Maine, but it could take her some time. I mean, if she sees something, she'll try and stalk it and catch it. Let's go to Gari, Maine. Just sit there for a little bit, and then we're going to start heading back towards where Shidulu was seen last night, because it'll take us a bit of time to get there. Oh, well, it was nice to see a leopard. I didn't think I was going to see a leopard on my first drive back. That's always nice. The leopard sightings in Sri Lanka were really difficult, and I don't know if they were, I don't think no, they're not. They're not as good as what you experience here in the Sabi Sand. This is the best place in the world to see leopards. Hands down. You have a private safari guide, drive you around. You can off-road, obviously, in certain circumstances. The vegetation, even though the grass is long now, it's still fairly open, and they just put on a show for you. So, yeah, the sightings were difficult in Sri Lanka because the vegetation is so dense and you wouldn't be able to off-road anyways. So nice to see cats again. Minamu, I think the thing that surprised me the most is, I don't know, so it was quite interesting. Because the vegetation is so dense, the only time you really see an animal is if it's, like, for example, it's up on a big granite boulder, because it's a big granite boulders. I think I just saw some water back here. And let's look at can you see their heads, Craig? Sorry, I know it's not a great view, but let's see if they are going to tell us that there's anything around here. So So basically, with the vegetation being so dense, you either only saw a leopard on the road, or if it was up on a big rocky outcrop. And I think the behavior is not particularly well studied at all. Obviously, there's a whole lot of leopards in Sri Lanka. It's got the densest population of leopards anywhere else in the world, in Yala National Park specifically. But you don't get to see them as often as you would think. Because if they're not on the road or on a rocky outcrop, you're not going to see them at all. The vegetation, I cannot tell you how dense it is. It's crazy how thick it is. So in the dry season, yes, perhaps you could see a little bit further, like, you know, how we see, but not to that extent in the Sabi sand. You know, it becomes like a desert here. So for the amount of leopards that are supposedly there, you really didn't get to see many. And I kept saying to my guests, like, you know, they would ask me, what do these leopards do? And I'm like, well, from what I've seen and from what I can use about leopard behavior in Africa, you know, I kind of just try to apply that. I think they do a lot of strange things there that nobody knows about because they live behind this, like, curtain of the jungle and forests that no one else sees. So their territories are so tiny. I would say the leopard territories in Yala National Park are between 3 and 5 kilometers squared. How crazy is that? It's so small, so tiny, and they live on top of one another. They very rarely fight. I never heard a leopard sawing, not once. I don't know if I don't think that they're as vocal as the leopards here in Africa. Although in Kenya, I also never heard a leopard saw either. They're very quiet there, but they're very chatty here in the Sabi sand. So yeah, they're very different. Their faces look different too. I mean, I've got a couple of pictures. I didn't actually get to photograph very many of them, unfortunately. Not as many as I would have liked. They also just looked a little bit different, and then their tails were very long. To me, that was the most obvious physical difference, is that I found that the leopard tails here in Africa are much shorter. And I don't know what that is, because I see more leopards in trees here in Africa. And you'd think that maybe that had something to do with balance and them climbing trees, but I don't know. I don't know what it was. They sort of just never ended. They crossed the road, and then it would take 3 minutes for the leopard to cross because their tail was still going. It was crazy. So these waterbuck are very relaxed for now. I don't think they've spotted a leopard or know that there's leopard around. Anna Marino, I didn't see any waterbuck in Sri Lanka. They also don't have antelope, though. They've got deer. So the deer that I saw spotted deer or access deer. Those are the most common ones. So they're basically like the impala of Sri Lanka. And the same thing goes for India as well. Although I'm not going to tell you too much, because Tristan is, of course, going to come back. And he'll want to tell you all sorts of amazing stories. So we'll let him do that. There's one waterbuck that's like that one. It's like staring to the distance and listening quite a bit. I also saw samba deer, which were fairly big, and they reminded me of like reindeer more than anything. Not that I've seen a reindeer either. And then the next one was what was the next smallest? Barking deer. They're really tiny. They look like very dark brown versions of daker, and I think they're a little bit bigger than a daker though. And then I really wanted to see a mouse deer, but I didn't get to see a mouse deer. They're apparently tiny, maybe like the size of a blue daker. So yeah, okay, I think let's go a little bit further along, because this cat was a bit further into this block than where we are, but I just thought we could sort of watch ahead. So yeah, it's so different. It's like chalk and cheese, the safari experience in Sri Lanka versus Africa. We are very, very spoiled here in Africa, like 100%. So we're going to keep scouring up and down the section just towards the Mulwati to see if Sibuya does pop out again. Sydney's still playing around with the marulas.
I am still here under the marula tree, and something I must tell you is that since the beginning of this month here in South Africa, different cultures and in different areas, they are celebrating and honoring the marula trees, as it is the Marula Festival month. There's different functions taking place everywhere. But let me tell you something. Where I come from, in Limpopo, is where the origin of the Amarula beer is. The Amarula beer that you're drinking everywhere, the modern one, originated from Limpopo, but not far away from here, Palabura. So that area is where there's quite a lot of marulas. So the other areas are enjoying the Amarulas as well, but traditionally it has been done everywhere. So now here I have got something. I managed to get what is in the seed. I want to show you here. Look, if you check there, the seed has got this kind of a flesh. This is the flesh that I was talking about that we put when we are cooking the morogo or vegetables. This is so nice. So if you take this, you can eat this. This is so very much nice, and it tastes very nicely. This is so nice. And normally at home, normally at home we do go when there's cows and goats. The cows and goats also eat these things, the marula fruits, and we go and take from the droppings. We take all these things after it has been digested, and then we can be able to take this. So we go and eat these things from there. So look at the color of this flesh coming out there. This is so nice.
And the squirrel eat this.
The squirrel, they come and eat this a lot, and they even take this and hide it underground somewhere, and even use the anti-theft. They even use the anti-theft strategies. Squirrels can take all these and hide them somewhere, and they will be changing the locations every time using the anti-theft strategies. Clever small animals. Now I'm going to eat again this, but there's still a little bit more left here, so I don't want to lose anything because this is nice, and I haven't had this for a long time. Oh, the FC ladies by the final control, they are so very much jealous about this. That is why I don't want to be in the office. These are the benefits of being here in the bush. So this is so very nice. Now we are going to carry on and see if we can find you something very, very interesting. So the marula seed, to break it is interesting. You know, after doing these amarulas, the old ladies, also us, we take rocks. Just rocks. Normally we go to the river and we take those nice and very strong river rocks and we bring them, and then we use rocks. We just use rocks against traditionally. All these things cracked traditionally. We don't have any modern machine in order to crack them. So we use rocks, and then we just have to hit against them, open them and take, just like that. And after that we go to the artist. You buy something where, I don't know what it's called, but there is something which is more like a bowel, but it's made out of the wood, which is very much strong, but it's so big. And then we buy that plus a stick, and we take these kind of nuts or the flesh we put in there, and we have to then do like this traditionally so that we can be able to convert them into powder. So we don't even take them to any grinding something. We do it ourselves just like this. When it's powder, that is when we're going to save it. When we are cooking, we'll just take that powder and then we can use it. So it's not something that you can crack from the teeth. It's very much difficult. It's so hard. Paula, the beer specifically, the fruits, you know, the other tree that I know that you can make beer out of, which is also a very strong alcohol, is called a palm beer. That is from one of the palm trees. You come to the stem of the palm, you drill a hole, and after drilling a hole, you can put a small pipe like a straw there, and you put a bucket. You will see the water coming from the stem of that palm dripping to the bucket, and you drink it as it is like that, and it's so dangerous. That one, I mean, not dangerous, I'm just exaggerating that you're going to get high after drinking that. Oh, I just heard the bees here. There were some bees. I heard them somewhere here. So now we are going to be checking and see if we can find something. So I have missed my friends who are in Mara at the moment. So, but when I'm taking you to Mara, I am left with no option. But I have to take you there through David Gathamba Gitu style.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here in the plains of Masai Mara and we're driving around. This is prime cheetah estate, but we haven't been lucky yet. That's what we are looking for, but we haven't been lucky. So we're just milling around, bundu basing we call it, and hoping that we can find something. The grass is very high, like I've been complaining every day. Sorry. Sorry, I think I swallowed a fly. Some of them are medicinal, so don't you worry. Yes, so, we're still looking around, hoping that, we can find something for you guys. But the grass is very, very high. I'm gonna continue complaining, but for sure, when there is something for us, we will see it, and I'm hoping, but before the end of drive, we'll be able to find something. This is the vastness that is to be found in these sections of the Mara. They look very empty, but at the same time, it's very beautiful. You can see as far as possible. I think this is where you should come and test your eyes and see how far, you can see, because some areas are so open, you can see forever. You look and you can see as far as you can. Okay, I have to concentrate here. It's really wet. It's very wet here. I have to concentrate a little bit. Looks like some people got stuck. Yes, so this is areas where you can come and test your eyes because you can see as far as possible because the areas are very, very open. It is beautiful, as you can see, how far I can see. That is towards the Serengeti, quite a distance away. Maybe about 20 kilometers from where I am. That's how far it is and that's how empty it is. Yes, it is lovely, and I'm looking for cats around this area. I'm hoping to see one soon or later. Yeah. You said what flies are medicinal? Actually, there are none. I didn't want you to feel sorry for me. So I just swallowed one. I don't know what it is, but there are none. There are actually some of them that are very poisonous that we know, but I hope that one won't be poisonous, so that you can see me. You can see me in the afternoon. Yeah, I've been trying to find a road to go somewhere, but there isn't. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna cut somewhere here. Yes, there might be some medicinal ones, but I don't know which ones. But the ones I swallowed, I don't know. I hope it's not poisonous, so you can see me again. Otherwise, it's the end of me. Well, not many people would have died a long time. Yeah. Dan, you asked me, have those trees been cut or they grow naturally this way? They are natural, Dan. They are natural like this. They grow to be thick, and then towards the end, they just grow that nice canopy. But at the base, they usually don't have that many leaves when they are growing. They reach a certain height, then they open up. And I think it's the height where they feel like they are not being disturbed by giraffe and elephants, so they grow the canopy. But when they're young, they don't have the canopy. When they reach up is when they grow the canopy. So it's natural. Dan? Yeah, this is the kind of place where, the cats will roam This is the kind of place I like stopping and taking my binoculars and looking, because you can see as far as possible. Gabriel, you say it looks like a plasma TV screen. It does. A screen. Yes, it does. I call it my own SafariLive screen. You know, very private. You know, it's natural, undisturbed. I can look anywhere I want. That's what I call it. Yes, I'm gonna stop here a little bit and use my binoculars. Just wait a little bit and see what we have around. I don't know, sometimes this is the best place to see on this SafariLive screen, where I can look all the way around. There's somebody, I stop and there's somebody behind me, and they're not very happy, I think, because they are revving their vehicle. Yeah. Hello, you all good? Yeah, good morning, guys. Having fun? Good. Being lucky? Good. Yes. Yes, gender. Yeah, sorry, there are, you know, friends that have stopped here to say hello. Yes, that's a beautiful elephant, and he's quite a long ways away. And on top of the tree, you can see there's an eagle. Hush, right now, it is not... Hush, you say, what does the air smell right now? It is not... right now, it's just plain flat. It's not a very... it smells of grass. Have you ever had, smell of hay? Fresh cut hay? That's what it smells like. Yes. It's very different right now. And there's lots of birds singing everywhere. I don't know if you can hear that. Yes, that is the kind of ambience I get here on this SafariLive screen that I have in front of me. I can see miles. This is a place where you don't want to be dropped when you don't know where you're going, because you will lose your mind because you don't know which direction to go. It is miles and miles of nothing apart from trees and animals. That is a nice big bull elephant. He's been... Chris, you asked me what lions are in this area. Good question. This is mainly, we are very far out of sausages. We are far off Mugoro, and this would be an area dominated by some nomadic lions. Here would be Oldonyo Pike males, but I don't know which females hang around this area. I'll have to go and see if we have new females that have come into this area. But this is Oldonyo Pike area. The females, I don't know. Oldonyo Pike dominate about three territories, quite huge. And this is one of them. We're quite a distance. Behind that elephant, way back there is where the sausages are. You know, a long way to the left over there. That's where they are. And we're quite a distance away. So this area is Oldonyo Pike, and I see them before the end of drive. Those are the areas. So, you know, a long way down there is where the sausages are. We're miles and miles away. I decided to come this area because I love it and I haven't been here for quite a while. Okay, meanwhile, let me continue and see what I can find for you before the end of drive. So, yes, let's see what's around. Oh, I have somebody else who's in a rush. Let's take you to Sydney, who's on a bushwalk, and see what he's up to.
Close.
Look at what I'm having here. I have got those kind of arachnids who normally prefers to attach themselves with the grasses in order to wait for the host. Look at this. So this is a rhino tick. So normally, if you go to the area where the rhinos were doing a mud bath, where they use a branch or a stem as a rubbing post, you will see this kind of ticks a lot. So these ticks are so clever because they can be able to detect their host from just the breath of the host. Sometimes they can also follow the shadow. When they see a shadow, they can be able to then jump on it. So they are very much clever. So they're just waiting here. Ticks don't eat like every day. They can survive much longer without even eating. Some of the ticks can even go for more than a year without eating anything. So they are so very much well gifted. And they do as well transmit diseases which does affect the animals negatively, detrimental diseases. So you can see, I have once seen a problem where the ticks transmitted a disease which is called a Teleria disease. Teleria disease is a disease which is transmitted by a tick which is called a Teleria parvalorensis. So it's called a brown ear tick. So the brown ear ticks, to the buffaloes especially, they do transmit diseases which can cause them problems. So ticks, they are not that very safe. So I'm going to have to leave them. Here is two. There's another one here, Sense. You see, right here, if you can check, right here, if you can go and leave this one, just to show you that it's not just one waiting. You can see.
This one is stretching.
So the problem is the allergies. You know, this kind of ticks, they do sometimes have some of the disease that they carry because they use this probe in order to absorb the blood and everything. Sometimes if they bite you, some of the people, they react differently. So if you are allergic to them, then it becomes a problem. But I'm not too sure of the specific diseases which can be transmitted by these kind of ticks. So they are holding so nicely. It's just that I don't want to touch this in order to make them wake up for nothing. So I just have to leave them. I don't have to pretend as if I'm the host because they also, I'm sure they also do have the predator. So I don't want to expose them to their predators. Christopher, the ticks can live for a lot of time. The tick that I was telling you about, the one which is called a brown ear tick, can live up to 2 years. 2 years, they can only live for 2 years if there is no food. So it means if, let's say, this tick is feeding on buffaloes and you remove the buffaloes from Juma, for the next 2 years, all those kind of ticks can be able to die easily because they can only go for 2 years. After 2 years, they will die if the host is not there, because some of them, they only associated with certain species of animals. So it means the lifespan of the tick is also determined by the availability of their prey. So Brew, that is quite a very interesting question, and that question I'm going to answer it broadly so that you understand. When you see the ticks transmitting diseases, it is normal and it's good, and you know who must have to celebrate that, who must give credit to the ticks is the grass. The question now is, why is Sydney saying the grass? Okay, a good example, the grazers. When the grazers are too much, they give the grass quite a lot of challenge as they are grazing on the grasses every time. So there has to be a balance. So grasses do celebrate when the animals are dying from diseases transmitted by the ticks. So it means when the ticks are killing the animals, they're just keeping the population of animals down, which then at least relieve too much pressure from the grasses. So you can see that kind of a balance. When these animals are transmitting diseases in the wild is how it works, because otherwise it will pressurize the grasses and it will lead to overgrazing. Overgrazing will expose the area, and when there is overstocking, when too much animals causing overgrazing, exposure is going to take place, area is going to be open. Now animals are going to die because there won't be food, and the area is going to be affected by flood and runoff because there are no trees in order to slow down the rapid water movement.
Wow.
Wow.
I just want to quickly check the baby behind the habit if there's anything interesting, as I think that I have spotted something, but I can't see. The mongoose. The mongoose were there now, but they got disappeared. So I know a lot of people must be asking themselves why Sydney says the flies get drunk. So I know a lot of people might be asking the questions such as why is Sydney saying the fruit flies get drunk and the bees get drunk. I am not talking about the bees and fruit flies getting drunk from what they have eaten when it's fermenting in their stomach. The thing is the fruit themselves, because of yeast and sugar, they do ferment before the animals come to drink. So in other words, these bees and the fruit flies, they drink nectar or something which is already an alcohol. So now let's quickly go to Taylor.
So all this talk about marulas has made me hungry, and I haven't had a marula yet, and Craig hasn't had one either, so we're gonna go and find marulas. How hard could that be? Hey, Craig? Well, I think we're going to try quarantine. I feel like it's going to be our best bet. So we'll head on there. We did also do a quick drive back down Gary Main, Triple M. It doesn't look like there's any more activity of Shedulu. It doesn't look like she's crossed back. So we'll move out of that area and we'll go back a little bit later and maybe we get lucky. So, yeah. It was quite nice that at least Sibuya showed herself, which was great. I really was not expecting to see a leopard on my first drive back. That was a shock. Because the leopards normally really don't like me. If anybody's going to have the worst luck with animal sightings, it's me. Just to give an example, every single time I go to the Kruger National Park, I see nothing. Absolutely nothing. And so I went with some friends, and that morning while I was on my way, my friend Gary phoned me and he's like, you won't believe we just had the craziest sighting. We had one leopard and then there were two others and it was amazing. We go back there in the afternoon, not one. Didn't even see a lion while I was in Kruger, which is very unusual. Yeah, so I just have the worst luck. So if you want to go on a safari in Kruger, you do not want me anywhere near you because you will only see elephants, which I don't mind, and you'll see lots of baboons. I also don't mind. So yeah, I mean, I don't really get disappointed when I don't see the animals anymore. I'm just so used to it. It's fine. Okay, so we've got a long way to go. I'm going to have to relearn everything, all the names of the properties and all the roads. My brain has been bombarded with so much new information, especially when I was in Sri Lanka. Boy, oh boy. That I had to get rid of some of the other stuff. My storage was full, so I had to delete some of the things I already knew. Disaster. I'm gonna have to get an external drive to plug in. Maybe that will work. Anyways, okay. Where are the wild dogs, Craig? They're always here. They're not always here. They go wherever. Romit, I think you said, did I feel sad? I know we can always go back. I was really looking forward to going home. It was pretty lonely in the sense that most afternoons when I wasn't doing stuff with the guides or their vehicles were full and they had guests and things like that, and I was just working on videos, so I got to know myself really well. Yeah, I realized I had more personalities than I thought. No, I'm just joking. So yeah, that was pretty hectic. I only had a couple of close friends, and then I was only seeing like one of my really good friends when he was up in the area. And every now and then I'd go and get to see him. What did you see, Craig? A leopard? Way up ahead. Craig did this. Can I just actually show you what Craig did? Craig just did this. It was I thought he was stretching because he did this first, or he's flexing his muscles. I'm not sure. It could have been either or. And then he went and he did one of those. Because just now I see he did that, and I thought there's the leopard again, wasn't he? He was chasing a fly that time, so you never know. You've got to check with Craig. But Craig has pointed out an elephant. Please be Daryl. Can I have Hosanna on Daryl's back? No, it's not Daryl. It's another elephant. It's an imposter. Hello, imposter. Stop eating all the marulas, or can you throw 2 to Craig and I? No, it's not Daryl. Everybody, if you're wondering who Daryl is, shame that that name gets mentioned so much on this show. I think one day Steph was going to throw me out of the vehicle because it was when I was first telling you about Daryl. Hello, big boy. And I think I said his name about 360 times on the drive. Anyways, this is a young elephant bull. He's quite big. In fact, he looks a lot bigger than what he is because we're lower down than him. And he's just standing, not doing much at the moment, but I suspect he's under the marula tree for the marulas. We all know, and I know that it's been spoken about 150 times, but I haven't spoken about it yet. But yes, that's what they're eating. Yep, we just popped one in his mouth now. I'd be really impressed if an elephant took a marula, threw it up in the air and caught it in its mouth. I mean, I don't know why they haven't tried that yet. Oh well. Maybe one day. You know, like you say, you never know. Animals do whatever they like. You're all having a bit of a giggle about Hosanna being on Daryl's back. I mean, if there was going to be a leopard that would do that, it wouldn't surprise me if I came around the corner and there was a leopard on an elephant. It would 100% be Hosanna. That could be quite funny. Where are the artists at? Let's get some creative juices flowing. All the artists, all the good photoshoppers, let's put a leopard on an elephant's back. Shauna, they are. His tusks indeed they're very symmetrical, which is quite unusual for an elephant. Typically when you see an elephant bull, even an elephant cow, their tusks don't sort of match. One will be thicker than the other or longer or point in a different direction. He's got a good set of tusks on him. Watch him now, we can see he's eating marulas. Also, they don't just pick up one marula, they pick up like 3 or 4 and then pop them in their mouths. Craig, why don't you walk over and get one? No? Maybe just now. I don't think you'd be too impressed if we went over there to his marulas. If someone tried to take a marula from me, goodness, good luck to you. I'd put up a fight. It would be a serious problem. I'm going to put my foot on the clutch to see if we can roll back, because he's now... Oh, look at that, winning. It's always nice when you can just do things like that. And you can see the pathway, the animal pathway that everybody walks up to get to that marula tree too. Ooh, Patty. Oh, he's gonna shake it. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. There we go. He's getting more marulas. I love it when they do that. But that was quite spontaneous. He was shaking his head 1 minute and then he's like, I'm going to bash my head on the tree. Fantastic. I'm sorry, Patty. You've asked about how long does it take a marula tree to reach maturity before it gets fruit. I haven't got a clue. Shall we guess? Who wants to play that wonderful game that I play all the time? Well, I make you play it with me where we Google the answers. I don't have cell phone reception, so I can't Google anything. I'm going to say it takes a marula tree 10 years to reach maturity before it bears its first batch of fruit. But I could be talking nonsense. I also don't know if that answer is on the interweb. It might be. But, I mean, these trees, they're not particularly fast-growing trees, but I also don't think that they're very slow-growing trees, like something maybe like a leadwood or a baobab. I think that they're medium growers. The normal amount that a tree takes to get to that height. This isn't a very big female marula tree. It doesn't have many branches, just a few. And look, some of those leaves already look like they're starting to wilt, which is not ideal. Don't wilt away. I always like that change of season. You can also hear the crested franklins making lots of noise. There's one right here. I'm going to go forward, Craig. I want to see if we can see this crested franklin. I've forgotten. I'm so sorry. Who needed one more bird to get to 100? I'm so terribly sorry. There it is. Arman, you said it takes 15... Ramona. Oh no, Ramona wanted the bird. Ramona, here's your bird. It's on the termite mound, but it's now... Oh, there's two! Look at that. It's a special. Oh man, thank you. You said it takes 15 years. Oh, I didn't win that guessing game. Thank you very much. Okay. I feel like maybe, yeah, my guess was a bit young. So, I don't know where those birds are going now. Perhaps in the direction of the other one that is calling. Watch out, there's an elephant there. Okay. Joy and Sammy Jane, you've said it takes 7 to 10 years. I suppose, I don't know. We'll have to look. I don't have a tree book here, but I'm going to go raid. Whose room can I raid? We'll have to see. James has a fairly good collection. Not a fairly, a very good collection of books. So I shall go and investigate. And I live next door to James now. His worst nightmare. It's a shame. I'm going to play the music so loudly. Craig, can I borrow your speaker today? No, I'm only teasing. I'm going to get sent home and then I'm not going to be able to stay here for too long. Okay, we're going to head to quarantine where we can eat some fruit. Off you go to Isaac, and I wonder if he's ever tasted a marula fruit before.
Welcome back, and look what we found. We found the Salt Lake Pride. I haven't seen them for more than 1 year. So it is a big yay. I'm so excited to share them with you. And along with them is Kipuli. Kipuli is one of the guys who comes all the way to the sausages. And he's a massive guy. Look at him. He's such a beautiful male. Look at him. You know, Archie will do his magic and you'll see his identification mark, which is a sort of a nose ring. It looks like somebody had put a ring on him, on the nose, and then pulled it so it got ripped. And that's how we know it's him. And I think he has eaten something. Look at that. Beautiful. He's seated up. Look at that. You see there's a notch on the left nose. That is, oh, there it is. You see it? Yes, this is definitely Kipuli. And it is such a wonderful moment for me and Archie to see him. We haven't seen him for quite a long time. He looks like he's got a full belly. And he's with 4 females, the Salt Lake, 5 females, the Salt Lake females. And they have 2 tiny little ones. They're somewhere in the grass there. Boom, he's gone to sleep. Yeah, you can see them. They're in the middle there. They're very, very tiny. I just saw them briefly, and then they went down. So it is such a joy to share with you a very different pride than the ones we've been seeing before, and to know that everybody, although conditions are very tough, and it is really tough for everybody, all our lions look amazing. Can't you believe it? You know, they look very fat. Chris, thank you for appreciating a new pride. It's always beautiful to see a new pride. And for me, the exciting part is having to see them looking so healthy. Let's go back and have a look. You know, you can always hear me talking, another day, but to see these guys is amazing. Look at the little guys. This is the Salt Lake Pride. Very different. Yeah, that's a little one. Wow. Well, I must say, I'm so happy to see them and to know that our lions are doing great and we have new ones. I can't wait to see, the migration come and see how these guys will fare. The grass is very long. I would have thought that it would have been very tough for all our lions, but they look amazing and it's so nice, so beautiful. Yes. Just join me now with this pride, and on hashtag SafariLive is where you can interact with me, ask me what you think is in your mind, any question you have about the Mara and this other pride. They're in the middle of nowhere. Remember, we were driving, and then we came along, this tree, and they're just there. This is places where you look for lions, in very isolated areas where there's nothing. You think there is nothing, and you're just driving, and then you see a tail or an ear twitch, and all of a sudden there's a whole pride of lions. This is the kind of place we look for. Brent, you ask if male lions can have more than one pride. Of course, what happens is that a coalition of 2 or 3 males are too intimidating for 2 males or 1 male. So if they are in an area, they will actually, it's like having a gang, a bad gang, although yes, let's use a gang as an example, although it's not the kind of topic that I like talking about. Let's use a gang. A gang would be notorious and roam around an area. They might, spread, stretch their hood to a different area. This is what happens, and when they move into an area, whoever is there, if he's not tough enough, will leave. And this is what happened. So they will dominate more than one territory. These guys have got about 3 territories because they are bad boys. The name might sound very bad, but for them, they are the real deal over here. So you can tell that the male has got no care in the world. He's fast asleep. And what I would suggest here, the females made a kill, and it was something very small. He took it and ate it for himself, and now the girls are looking for something else. That's why every now and then they're going up and having a look, to see if they can find some more. Well, it is tough conditions, but they look okay to me. I hope they continue on like this, and those 2 little guys make it until the migration is here. I keep mentioning the migration, but in case you don't know, we do have a mighty one movement of animals once a year that they move from the Serengeti in Tanzania to the Mara, and they spend about 3 months here, and that is like Thanksgiving for lions in the Masai Mara. I'm sure they don't know how to do backflips, but inside, when they see the wildebeest, I'm sure they do backflips and what do you call it, cartwheels, because they're so excited when the migration is here. It's a galore time. Joy from Hong Kong, you asked me how many lionesses in this Salt Lake Pride. There are 5 females right here. Yes, there are 5 females right here, and it's complete. This is the Salt Lake Pride. Yes. This is the area. About 3 days ago, I came driving around, and I came across a very malnourished lioness. I don't know which pride she was from. I don't know if she's here, but she could have been from this somewhere, not very far. This is an area that is very open, and you can give up very quickly if you don't have that courage of keep looking. But for sure there is, this lioness is here, and this is where we saw the lioness somewhere down there, wandering around. I hope she's here, and I hope, she's gotten something to eat. You see, it can be very deceiving. You would think that is a very good tree to go and have a picnic, but you might be the picnic if you go there. So not a very wise idea. You have to be very smart, and also you have to know what you're doing when you come here. But these guys are resting, having a good time, enjoying the morning sun. You can tell it's already getting hot, so being in the shade is quite useful for them. But it's actually exciting to see the Salt Lake Pride. It's always nice to tell you how many prides we have. This is one of them. We can not only talk about them, but also show them to you. So it's beautiful. I don't know, I don't have words to express, how happy I am to see the Salt Lake Pride. It's been a while. Like I told you, I have seen the male, Kipuli, in the last 1 month, but to see the girls, it's 1 year, 1 good year. And I'm always here, so you can imagine how happy I am. It might seem like, they're everywhere, but sometimes they can hide really well. There's some areas we cannot. Okay, you might seem like, we can find them easy, but there's some rocky areas where we cannot get to. Well, before I continue on, let me send you to Sydney and see what the bushwalk is doing.
These kind of trees are those trees that are keeping the scent, such as the scent marks from these lions, which smells like popcorns a lot. So I was trying to sniff here if I can pick up any. This one, because it's close to the road, I'm very sure the leopards are using it, and they might have been using it for a long time. So, but because of the rain, yeah, maybe that is why the scent. But there is a scent that I'm picking up. Maybe it's coming from somewhere here.
Popcorn,
yeah, you can smell the popcorn, but it's not fresh. It's an old one, so it means we are just getting maybe the fresh air, which is from the leaves as they are wet by the water. And this is bringing us to the end of the guided walk, and hopefully we will meet again anytime soon. So I am now going to take you back to my other colleagues.
Okay, our lions have decided to put all their heads down, fast asleep. Well, a lion's life is dominated by a very big percentage of sleeping, and this is what they're doing here. You can tell their tummies are not as lean. They've eaten well. They're all very full. Look at that big male, look at the belly. This is a good 250 kilos. Now we're talking about 500 pounds. And this guy can take on any animal here. There's nothing that he fears. And with the girls like this, he is doing very, very well. Romit, you asked me if I know about the origin of the sausage tree pride. I would assume this is a pride that either came from Tanzania many years ago. Their descendants must have come from Tanzania, and that area, sorry, Romit, you're asking about the Salt Lake Pride. The Salt Lake Pride, I would say, this must be breakaways from either the Mogoros or the sausages, because they are not very far. But remember, this area, not very many people used to come here, and where the Salt Lake Pride is, because it was a dangerous area some few years back, like 15. So I would say not very many people know the history of most of these prides. Well, people just started following them for the last about 6 years. So not very many people know exactly the origin, but I would say this was their forefathers' land, and these are the descendants of lions that lived here, for sure. That is the answer I would give you, Romit. Otherwise, there would be prides that came from either Tanzania or breakaways from the sausages. I wish, when I meet you, we'll talk more on this. Yes. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to sit here and hope they get up. Let me take you to Tyler and see what she's up to.
We're still looking for marula fruits, and we have not found any. Where are they all gone? Have the elephants eaten them all already? Did they just not fall off the trees? Like, I'm very, very confused, because my go-to marula tree, which is one on the northern side of quarantine, like on Vuyatela access, that's normally filled with marula fruits. Not anymore, apparently. There were 2 squashed ones on the floor. Very disappointing. Right, let us try some other trees. So I feel like I might only find marulas now if I'm on bushwalk. Bizarre. Very, very, very strange. We'll keep looking though, because I would like to try one. I'm going to eat a whole lot. I remember once where we filled a Ziploc bag, like a plastic bag, up with marula fruits. It was so delicious. We ate so many. I had such a stomach cramp. Don't eat too many. It's not nice. Like, I'm so confused. Where are all the marulas? I need Sydney to bring some back. So when was there a leopard? There was some, it must be old leopard tracks, yeah. Oh, goodness. Now it's that time where I've got to try and remember how to do the closing. Well, we'll give it a bash. Probably going to be off, but hopefully it will make you laugh anyways. So we're going to have to do a big loop around quarantine. That's this open area here. And keep searching for marulas. So we're just going to keep going round and round and round the entire afternoon. We might run out of fuel in search of these marulas. We'll give it our best shot, eh, Craig? I feel like we've tried this and we're unsuccessful. This area's normally full. Whoa, Mildred! I think I need to reposition for you, Craig. Can you see it from there? Well, I suppose it might walk into your frame. Hi. That was one thing I don't think I saw in Sri Lanka. I can't recall seeing a millipede. It's a rather large millipede. I call them Mildreds, for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about. I can't even remember why I called them that, but I do, and they will forever be Mildreds. Walking along the sand. So always be careful when you're driving around, because there's lots of them after the rain, and you don't want to squash one. It's not very nice. Not that anybody, I think, squashes them on purpose. They do look like sticks from a distance, but very cool. But we'll pick it up again this afternoon. I hope you enjoyed this morning and hope I surprised you all. But we'll see you again on the Sunset Safari.